Hold on. Chris is going to scroll. His friend is going to. Chris and his girlfriend are coming on.
Oh, cool.
The podcast. Okay. Let me know.
Right, yeah.
No?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I got to tell Jeff, though. I sent link.
What?
What? Okay. Okay, so try to come into the present moment through the breath. I'm going to actually close my right nostril and breathe through the nostril to bring some air into some prana into my right brain. Okay, so I'm just gonna ask the Creator to inspire us with great conversation and solutions for what we need to know in order to live on Earth at this time, and also to help us make great art. Amen. So what are we talking about today? What topic?
Human nature.
Oh boy. The great excuse.
Human nature, the great excuse. Yes, that would be accurate.
Oh, it's just human nature.
Human nature is neither inherently good nor inherently evil. Instead, we should consider the operating conditions or the environment in which human beings exist, which influences behavior to a great extent. Thus creating the current human condition, humans are programmable or teachable. Or another word I've heard for it would be adaptable. We're very adaptable. Some people don't like that connotation of programming or programmable.
Well, but
it's not necessarily a bad thing.
I mean, but they know that we're adaptable. That's why they're doing this shit right now, because they know we'll just adapt to it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll almost adapt rather than fight it, honestly.
Right. Sometimes it takes less effort to adapt to things than it does to fight things.
Apparently, because that's what we're doing right now. As on the whole, I'm not, but I mean, but look, I just look at how much effort it takes me just to do this simple, it's not actually simple, but to do this thing, it's just taking so much effort on my part to do this. It's so out of my comfort zone. So much easier just to have, I just was thinking about that. Well, what if I didn't listen to Passio's stuff? And what if I was still kind of wandering around? I mean, I was already questioning everything, but I hadn't come to conclusions. I probably would have gotten the job. I probably would have, because peer pressure.
Who knows?
So here I
am. You are creating artwork.
You know what I mean?
What are you working on there?
Oh, I'm doing the inalienable right to assemble and the inalienable right to speak freely, which I put into one sigil. Where did it go? Oh, see, this is it. This is the sigil. Nice. And I had drawn this. They're part of the flower around it. It's harder to do things than I thought it would be. Let's put it that way.
Right. Cool. I'm going to be working on a piece here. I'm going to have oh yes, like a baby, and I'm going to have these different cartridge, game cartridge kind of things. And depending on which cartridge gets inserted into the head of the baby depends on what program it's running.
Oh, neat.
And so I'm going to have just some small, a variety of the cartridges above, and then different, I could put different symbols on them to represent different programs, maybe a cross for the Catholic or Christian religion, stuff different things like that,
Mm-hmm.
So
that's cool. Yeah, that's neat. I am just I'm doing my inalienable rights. I'm not gonna
see if it works out.
Huh?
We'll see if it works out.
Yep. So I'm just dealing with the annoying thing about what happens when you wet paper, how it totally changes it all changes.
Mm-hmm.
The shape and everything changes in it once you wet it. So yeah, I'm just on the fly here, screwing things up amazingly. Maybe not. We'll see how it works. But yeah, it doesn't look like what I originally did. It's almost like when you wet it, it becomes bigger. Mm-hmm. It stretches out or something. I don't know. It's weird. Oh, hi, Jeff.
Hola.
How you doing?
Okay.
Getting ready for Pork Fest?
Yeah, getting freaked out.
Why?
Cause, talking in front of peoples.
Oh, you're gonna talk?
15 minutes.
You'll be great. You're a talker, dude. You're a talker.
You say
Aren't you?
so. I'll trust you.
You're gonna be fine. You're a talker. Yeah, you just don't think about it. Just refuse to think about it. Say, nope, not thinking about this anymore. Done.
I got 12 hours to think about it while I'm driving.
No. No. I would that's what I would do. I would say, okay, I've had enough time to think about this now. So now, and anytime I think about this, I'm going to say this mantra. That's what I would do. Cause I wouldn't want to be thinking about it. Say some nice mantra like, divine love is doing its perfect work in my life now and all is well. That's all you get to say whenever it pops into your head. Yeah. That's what I would do myself.
I keep having these interesting discussions with people about truth. I think I'm more confused now.
So that's you're going to be you're talking about the show. Is that what you're going to talk about?
I'm talking about the show. Yeah. And why.
Well, that's cool.
Why people might, or how I can urge people to come to the show and also to participate, make some work for it. So.
Good. Well, I think that's fantastic. And there's a girl from Colorado. I almost decided to go at the last second, but I decided, hell no, I'm not fucking doing that. It's too much for me right now to do it.
Yeah.
Nice. Looks like we got you in your studio today.
Yep.
That, but she's an artist.
I don't know where to. So I'm just trying to look. I wish there was like a tripod mount on my computer. For the time of
tripod
Zoom.
Mount.
Yeah. Oh right, yeah.
Right.
There probably is one.
But
there probably is. Yeah. I'm just trying to get to my workstation so you can see it. Hey, you don't need to see it. Okay. I think I'll fuck around with this a little bit more.
Oh, neat. That looks great. Yeah. That's awesome. Look at that.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, what's that? Asphalt with.
That is lead.
Wow.
This is metal shards from my cutoff saw.
Uh-huh.
And that's a piece of juniper bark. So
nice.
it's just something I did as a test to fuck around last night. And then I got these little wafers. So it's epoxy mixed in with
lead wafers?
Metal shards. Yeah, not lead.
Oh, neat.
I'm going to get a magnet.
Oh, wow. This is cool. This is art show and tell time now.
Yeah. So this was the first one I did. It looks kind of like an H, but it isn't intentional. And this one's about 2.5 years old. And it just popped out of a box I had. Oh, this is cool. Let's go in this direction. So this is, the little wafer on a magnet. So you can.
So it's magnetic. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Oh yeah, if it's lead, it's definitely one of the most magnetic things.
Yeah. So the epoxy mixed in with this metal, this is really strong. I mean, it's it's not as strong as a piece of steel, but it's a lot stronger than just a piece of epoxy because there's a matrix with those metal shards.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So is this okay with what we're talking about?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Right. Tell me more.
Yeah, it's fine.
We're going to talk about human nature at some point, but let's hear about this.
I'll be into that. This won't go forever. So, so the bar top, I want to make out of 2 inches of epoxy with lots of objects in the bar top, different things, and at different levels, because you don't pour it all at one time. You pour it in like quarter to half inch pores at one time. And then you debubble it with a torch. You pop the bubbles with a propane torch.
Mhm.
And then I've fucked around with it before where you take paint or even a marker and then you mark that layer and then
Mhm.
you pour the layer on top of that. So then you can do another layer and you can have the lines crisscross or whatever. And so that things are in the forward or the back, kind of depending, but you can just go right over it. So it's kind of, you get like a three-dimensional effect and something that, looks flat. And then, so I'm going to pour like this metal. I'll make a matrix out of it. I'll put it in the tabletop, the bar top, and then get the metal so it's really close to the surface so that then I can take a magnetic sign and put it on top of there with just a little tiny magnet at the bottom. So it keeps up, stays up. And it's kind of, I'll have different places around the bar that I can do that. Notices or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, is this for, you're gonna have your liquor
Yeah, applying for the liquor license. I'm still in it.
license in the gallery thing?
Yep.
So this is what's gonna be at the bar
Well,
inside the,
it's kind of dual purpose. I think it's going to be art also besides the bar top. So,
Uh-huh.
but to stare into this stuff, it's just like I don't know, it has some real depth to it.
uh-huh.
And I don't know, it's a visual thing that's kind of interesting. If I could figure out how to, I need a panel to put it on, something that won't warp. Remember the warpage.
Warpage, yep.
Warpage. And because it's epoxy, it's going to stick to just about anything but silicone. Or I used petroleum jelly for my mold release on this guy.
Oh, neat. Wow,
That works good.
that's pretty cool.
And that is a weird kind of thing. It's
What is
aluminum.
that?
I
What
don't know.
is
What
that weird thing? Huh?
do you think it is?
What do I think it is? It looks like tire tracks, a
No.
mold, or a sneaker.
No.
Like an old
Or it's,
radiator.
oh, it's a
That's what it is.
radiator.
It's aluminum radiator for a Lola race car.
Wow.
And then this is just this goop that I, balled up and I had rubber gloves on and I just placed it on there just for fun. And so like you can make these things up and you can stick them on just about anything. They'll probably even stick to glass.
Wow. While they're
What?
while they're hot, you mean?
No, well, no,
You
why before they set up. I mean, it
You
takes time for it to set up.
can stick them on when they're melted. Right, epoxy, right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like a snowball.
Cool,
Yeah. What you got?
right.
What you
What
working on?
are we doing?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm working on the inalienable right to assemble and speak freely
Okay. But
in
that,
the
well, that's
sigil,
not,
and I have the rest of it.
it's not necessarily a truth, is it?
It is truth. Inalienable right.
But what about people that
We-
take that away from you and throw you in a cage?
But it is a,
They're
about them?
performing
It
it
doesn't
wrong.
make it
They're
right.
not performing it right.
Okay.
I mean, it's, you might have to fight for it, especially at this point where we have become lackadaisical, but it is a right in nature.
Yep.
You can look in nature and see
I
birds.
I
birds,
agree. I agree.
And
with you.
they speak freely. Right. It's just we
They
do have
assemble.
to, if someone's trying to take you, that's the thing, you might have to fight for it. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, well, I think
But yeah, I'm
every
happy.
day it gets closer to that place. It's not going in the other
Oh
direction.
yeah, every day it gets closer. Not apparently, no, even though some people claim it is, which I just don't know what the hell they're talking about, but it is, it does seem to be going. Recognize that we have that right, you see. So if you recognize that you have that right, then maybe you have to, and this is, I'll speak from my own experience. I have to do things that might be very uncomfortable, but which, um, illuminate my right. Like I have to do stuff that goes against my, what I'm, what maybe the common norms that, that, underscore my right. It's very uncomfortable. Yes, very, very uncomfortable. It's a lot more comfortable to, you know, keep your mouth shut and stay home by yourself, but I ain't doing it.
Good.
So that's the way that is. That's the way it is. I ain't doing it. So I'm basically in a state of discomfort most of the time these days, honestly, because of what I'm doing, but that's all right. I can handle it, I guess. Hopefully
Well,
I'll get a break soon.
you are handling it.
Hopefully I'll get a break soon. I mean, the things I've been doing lately, I'm pretty sick of it. I'd like to get a break soon, but I don't know when I'm going to get a break.
I'd say generally I'm pretty happy
A break from standing up for principal.
with what I'm doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's just very uncomfortable right now. I'm just doing so much of that standing up thing.
What do you mean by that, Joanna? Going out like
It's
public,
just.
do regular.
Oh no, I'm just trying to get this just trying to do the PMA, doing the PMA thing.
Like the concern that.
What does that
The
mean?
government's going to come after you or something? Is that the concern?
I have to do all these things that I don't really understand because I've been living in the public my whole life. And so if I make a mistake, then I would probably have to start all over again.
Mm.
So it's still like the unknown, right? Is that?
Yeah, it's the unknown. And then I have to ask a lot of people for help, which is fine, but it's just very uncomfortable. But I do believe it's my right to do this. It's just
the type of person who'd rather not ask for help and just figure it out yourself. Would you say that's true or not?
comfortable. No, I'm fine asking for help, but it's just how much it's kind of embarrassing how much help I actually need. So that's where it's getting old now.
On your path to sovereignty, like to be free of government, is that what you're saying the change is?
Because I mean, I have to stand up. Like I just like I had a lot of trouble with the mask thing initially. Like the first time we had the lockdowns and everything, I couldn't stay standing up the whole time.
Yeah.
And I had to work so that the second time I was immune to it physically, like I didn't flip out internally, angry, all that. You just don't understand it. So we have some new people here, huh? Chris and Leslie, right?
Yeah. Hi.
Hello. Welcome.
Yeah, Leslie, it's
Thank you.
Joanna and Woody and Jeff, right?
Jeff,
Yes.
Yeah, first time training,
Yeah,
guys.
so that's great. I'm glad to have you here.
yeah.
You had a
So
friend,
we're just,
Joe, he was- he was
we're
here,
just all doing,
he ended up rain checking. He might be with us next week.
okay. So we're just making art here, and we're gonna start talking about human nature with regards to natural law.
Awesome.
And anytime anybody wants to.
Which is what I'm attempting to make with this painting that I'm working on right now. Right now, I'm just mixing some colors. Human nature is, we said earlier, is about, we're not good nor evil. We're programmable, we're teachable, we're adaptable. So my idea for tonight's painting to kind of illustrate that was to have like a baby, and then I was gonna have a bunch of different kind of like game cartridges kind of thing, like above, and then like the cartridge that gets inserted and one of them will be inserted into the baby's head, and that'll kind of have like a symbol on it of what program that baby's going to be running.
Mm. Cool.
Not
So
that that's how it
we're
actually works,
So
we're not inserting cartridges in our head like a computer, but I just thought that would be kind of a neat way to illustrate it. We'll see if I can pull it off.
there's a chef. Jeff is going. He has a gallery in Southern Colorado, and he's going to have a show, and Woody and I are doing artwork for it.
Oh, nice.
Neat.
Where in
And
Colorado?
you guys are invited to participate too
Pueblo.
in Pueblo.
So on the website, there's there's some information under Truth Show. That's the name of it. The show is Truth. You can fill in kind of a card online and just send it in, and then it will go to me and it will go to Stephanie with Autonomy. So we're got some good entries. So it's an invitational. So here's my invite.
Yeah, and the website he's referring to would be the blowbackgallery.com.
Yes, that's correct. There's no W in blow.
Yeah, so BLO backgallery.com. So yeah, it's fun.
So you guys are welcome to submit.
Please.
That's what we're doing right now.
Freedom theme show, or what is the theme?
Truth.
Truth.
Truth and freedom, yeah. But yeah, truth. Which freedom, should be the truth that we're all living.
Mhm. Well, truth is the path to freedom, I think, too.
Yes, yes, yes. True.
Where are you guys from?
Upstate, Northern California.
Okay.
Reading near Mount Shasta.
Uh-huh.
Nice. Yeah, I'm in Evergreen, Colorado.
I lived in Colorado Springs for a few years.
Yeah, Pueblo is only 35 minutes from there.
Oops.
Yeah, I lived in the Springs for a little while too. It's kind of a mixed community there. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of military
Mhm.
people and stuff there.
Yeah. Yeah, I worked on the Olympic Training Center campus there. So that was kind of get exposure to the sports. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
Wow.
it's a nice building.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I live in Thornton, and I have never lived down there, but I like it down there. At least in Pueblo, I like Pueblo.
Real.
It's a real place, not like fakery that I mean, basically Denver's like the Bay Area now at this point,
Yeah.
which I grew up there, the Bay Area. So let's jump in with the human nature thing. I mean, but we were starting to talk about it, about how about how people, it's not that we're adaptable, but it's not necessarily our nature to be slaves. We're sort of have adapted to slavery.
Yeah. Yeah.
It seems.
Without awareness, without like really conscious awareness.
But, you know, like one thing that's occurs to me with that is like, if you look at like dogs, for instance, dogs are a good example. Here you've got like over generations of dog breeding. You've got like dogs created that are like really frail, or they have inherent problems in their body, like their nose doesn't even work right or something. And like that's because, right, like purposefully, or chickens that die after 2 years because they're so long. You know what I mean? Like in some ways we're born into an aspect of that. And even though it's always a choice, like when you're born into sort of you're dealt a sour hand. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
By the way, you're kind of breaking up there, Chris. I don't know why, but your
Probably
connection.
because where we're at, we're in our garage. It's just the best place to draw.
Oh, okay. I was just letting you know. Yeah, I would say that you're right about that. That's how I feel. Like I was going for a walk earlier and I was feeling like part of me wishes I just didn't know any of this stuff at this point, you know. But I just have no choice about that because that's who I am. I'm a seeker.
Yeah. It's like once you see, you can't unsee.
Exactly.
Unlearn it.
Sometimes it's not a pleasant, when you see what it is, it's not necessarily pleasant.
Right, but I'm out there, you know, in nature, walking around, and I'm thinking, you know, nature is perfect, and I'm just thinking, I just feel like I am half human and half alien or something like that, and that's why I don't adapt well to this place, and why I would fall into some kind of belief system about man's law being the right way.
Well, you know, in the theme of programmability, you know, babies are born into these worldviews, into the, you know, the parents are already programmed. So, and then culture is bringing kids into more and more programming, like through schools and daycares and everything. So, you know, with a child, let's say they're born genetically strong, then but they don't know what they're being influenced by, you know. So that's the trick, is the consciousness is kind of stolen right from the start. And some people seem to wake up and see that and others don't. And that's something interesting. Why is that? Why is it that some people are able to see and others are not? Is that a genetic thing? Makes me wonder.
I don't know. Maybe it has to do with how far outside the system you've been living your whole life. Maybe if you grew up in like an extremely weird type of family that didn't really fit in, then you're more likely to see it than if you fit into the system and you do well in the system, then you have no interest in seeing anything else outside of it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like whatever it is that makes that kid or that person different, right? Then you start to see from a different perspective.
Makes me think about how nature is really random, but it's also really organized in its randomness. You know, like there's an order that's sort of chaotic, you know, there's chaos,
Sure.
orderly.
Well, yeah, I always look at the forest floor, which I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of that around you, and it is completely random, but it is perfect in its randomness. It's always beautiful.
Well, and you know, the fractals and patterns that appear over and over again in what seems like random natural events, you know, that appears to be like chaos. But what I think when people are really study it, they see an order, but yet there's an infinite way that all that can come together, I guess. And so that leads to so much possibility, you know, for that being that's born with like, maybe what I like to think of is infinite possibility, although there's probably some limitations. But we have not experienced any of us because of the caps put in place by traditional programming. And the only way to experience like that natural beauty, you just really totally disconnect. It's like you have to be unplugged as much as possible.
But how could you do that in the freaking world we live in?
I know, that's the challenge. And for those of us who want
Like you
it.
feel it just a little bit when you go to the beach or when you go to the lake,
Yeah.
but it's just like a glimpse.
Yeah, it's frustrating because you want to go spend all your time, you know, out on a beautiful hike or at the beach or the lake or something, because you get that glimpse of that feeling of, you know, that nature, you know, how it just makes you feel good. But then like you got that other side that where you have to like make money and stuff and put food on the table for you and your family and stuff like that. And so that draws you back into the other, you know, world a little bit, you know, too much, more than we'd like it to.
You know, so then we constantly have to fight. I don't know if it's a fight, but this, to have this awareness of our own awareness, like of our own minds, to keep a part of us always aware of the programming. Like the more that I become aware, the more I see the programming. Right?
For sure. Yeah.
And like this conscious thing to be aware.
Mm-hmm.
Not
You
go back.
need to be vigilant.
Mm-hmm.
And the programming itself isn't necessarily evil. It kind of depends on what programming you're taking in, you know, I mean, because it could be, you know, you could be programmed to be really peaceful and loving and generous and accepting and, you know, grateful all the time. Or you could be programmed to be bitter, you know, vengeful, aggressive, you know, authoritarian. There's a huge spectrum of like what, you know, how a human could be programmed. And just like a computer has that huge spectrum, you know, and that's why we're such a adaptable species, is because we can learn all these different skills and stuff and help us survive in different situations.
But there's times when you should be vengeful, you know, you should be aggressive, and then there's other times when you should be loving. So the thing is the problem is when you're just stuck in one side all the time, which is where I'm coming from. I came from that because I'm an artist, you know, and I grew up in a certain way. And so I was always super passive when it came to where I should have stood up, I would just back down. So I have to learn that.
Balance. It's always a balance, you know.
I have to learn.
You know, you have to have that strength and courage to defend yourself in certain situations, you know, but then you also have to be compassionate and loving and accepting in certain situations.
Yeah, but we basically have to balance ourselves now, because we're pretty much probably not balanced at all in that way. Like,
yeah, I was going to say something along those lines, that many of us kind of trained to be so on the passive side of accepting, over adaptable. Like I would say for myself, over adaptable, over flexible, of conflict avoidant, you know, kind of was a pacifist for many years, you know, not recognizing the importance of the self and maybe, and then through that kind nature, the sweetness or whatever kind of attracted probably some, you know, narcissists and had dynamics into my life. So I had to learn to be aware enough of my own patterns and how that then played off other personalities, and to learn to protect myself, to value being harder, right, than I was comfortable with.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's like we're reteaching ourselves, but you have to have that awareness.
Right. And it's hard,
Mhm.
I'm finding, but you know, it's a daily thing. I'm sure that I'll benefit a lot from what I'm going through right now, because it's so
Well,
much.
It's interesting when you compare us to like different species too, and this kind of reinforces the fact of how programmable we are. Is like, for instance, like a snake, let's say, when a snake hatches out of its egg, it is like, it does not have its mother there. It already knows how to hunt. Like, it's already like pre-programmed essentially. It's like, it knows how to hunt, and it knows how to do all the stuff that it needs to do to survive as a snake, you know. But it's not near as adaptable as a human. You don't, you know, snakes, you know, they just live in the climates and the ecosystems that support that lifestyle. If they get taken out of that, it's going to have a much harder time of survival. Whereas, you know, a human is born, and the human can barely even lift his head for like the
Right.
first, you know, couple months, you know. And so an infant is born completely blank. They know nothing. Basically, the only thing an infant knows when it's born is how to suck. That's about all it knows how to do, is how to suck. And it, you know, it takes a little while to learn how to fully, you know, breastfeed, or however, you know, the parents are doing that feeding, you know, regimen. But this child is going to need constant care from the parents, you know, for years before it's able to survive on its own. And so that's kind of a contrast there of like a snake. It's like pre-programmed. It hatches out of the egg. The mother's not even there. It can already start hunting like small mice and like little stuff like that. Whereas the human, it's like, if it wasn't for the mother or the father being there, it's going to have a really, really hard chance of survival, because it's got a big learning curve before it knows how to do all the stuff it needs to do.
And
That's a really good comparison, Woody.
it's also, you know, shows though how easily programmed a human baby could be because of the lack of knowledge, right? So they're totally dependent on that
Yes.
to path and trust that actually that's a lot of the mindful, you know, which occurs from birth by the caregiver to create that confusion and, you know, response. It's terrible.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What I think is the people that have called conspiracy theorists over the year, like, I'm being extreme basically in whatever conversation we're having. Then we get into the conversation deeper, and at the end, if they're willing to go the distance, that they're the one that think human nature is basically evil. That's why we need like prisons, governments, because otherwise everything would be crazy. But they're the ones that don't believe in humans being good, you know, and they're trying to look at me like I'm being negative about things, saying, you know, the world's being run by don't be negative. But the other perspective is that there's no reason to fight, because it's really a negative point of view.
Yeah, it's very
So
negative.
it's weird that it's the opposite. And
We're
in
the
some ways,
optimists.
by seeing how bad things are and talking about it, even though it's a negative topic and it's depressing. Uh, Trying to be an optimist.
Yeah. Oh, uh-huh.
I was reminded when you were saying that about this experience I had one time when I was just started listening to Passio's work. I was at the dentist, and my dentist is really cool. He's like a gun owner and everything. And we were talking, but I must have crossed a line with him because he just basically just snapped back at me and told me that, human nature is evil, and so that's why we have to have government.
Really?
It was amazing. It was an amazing experience.
Wow.
I was like, well, I think I'm going to shut up now. Since you've got the tools and my mouth is open, I'm going to shut up. But we've never spoken about it again. But it was basically we talked to his cognitive dissonance level. Like we exchanged ideas up to a point where he couldn't grasp the thought of an anarchist ideology, and he snapped back into that thing where he can be an anarchist, but everybody else has to be ruled because he has this negative worldview.
Mm.
It was pretty interesting.
That is.
I was like, yep, okay.
It's real true thought was revealed. You got
Yeah. I mean, but that's the unfortunate violation of natural law with regards to authority. Like I'm better than all of you, so I can see, I should be given freedom, but you can't be free because you're not me or something.
you have evil
It's
in
like
you.
the teenager struggle. It's the mind of a teenager. It's like where we all go through. We're at a certain age where like you're still kind of fighting for, to tell how much the world is. Can you just make it be what you want it to be, and have it? And that's like you have that same struggle with gravity when you're much younger. You're trying to say, well, maybe I can just lean this much, and then you realize you fall when you do that. And then another age when you try to rebel against the way everybody does stuff. You're like, what if I do it this way?
Right.
But that's partly because our society is already on end, and I think children and then teenagers are already recognizing that a lot of things are upside down and weird and don't make sense. So what the heck way should you act? There's nothing that makes sense. And they a lot of times come out with that nihilistic, like nothing matters. I don't care. I've heard that a lot.
Right. The teenagers, and then they
Through
commit suicide.
everywhere I've been, where they just kind of like, I hate people. People are terrible.
Yeah. I hear that from a lot of people, actually. They hate people.
Like, I don't want to be around any people. They're all bad.
Right. That's definitely programming.
Yeah.
Well, it's also the result of trauma.
For sure.
True.
I'll get mine. Oh, my Lord.
True.
Some people are, more resilient to that trauma than others. And, a lot of that trauma may have even happened in school itself, because there's a lot of peer pressure and weird dynamics of social dynamics when you're in school with all those kids. And if you're not the popular kid, you could really go through some pretty traumatic things.
For sure.
I did.
Me too.
I did.
And see, that's what I mean. That's why I think we're all seekers, because we knew that there was that what I didn't fit into the system at all. I was just telling my partner last night, I don't even know how I graduated from high school. I think they just got me out of there because they didn't want to deal with me anymore. They didn't want to have to go through another. I just did not.
Yeah, but it's that crooked trail that we all walked that allowed us to be able to see what other people don't see, right?
Yeah.
Right. No, I'm not saying it's wrong or whatever. I'm just saying it is what happened.
Yeah. sometimes I think when there's an element of disappointment or grief about how people act that leads to that kind of too. And I see it even with the kids, with the adults, and that they're disappointed by them, and maybe, or going out and having a dream of like a new school and then it being disillusioned. A lot of disillusionment, I think, gets tied up into that.
For sure. There's like they kind of paint like this pretty picture for you, but when you get out in the real world, it's not necessarily like that. Like you find out like, oh, wait a minute, this isn't really.
Well, the real system, actually, it's not the real world.
Mhm.
It's the system.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I don't fit in at all. I don't fit into the system at all.
When I after high school, I was like done with school. I've been forced to be in school for 16 years. I'm not going to another school. The hell with that. So I joined. We were part of church, and I went to this volunteer service. And like there, some of the people I met actually went to different countries, and I got to see them a year later. And I remember this lady telling me this story about. She's like, you know what? Where are like poor compared to us in terms of the things they own and stuff. Just way happier. Like everybody worked together. She was describing like all the little kids in the village, like 5-6-year-old kids that were like pulling rocks with like around their. Looked like they were all having fun doing it. They were pulling the rocks, and they were pulling the rocks to go help their parents build the thing or whatever. It was like, and they just described like other places that they went and saw in the world, where like they were kind of jealous of the way those people live.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Is this better?
No.
And
So taking kids away from like, it's almost like breaking up the communal living and where you're all working together, creating. The kids are their role, watching you and helping you as adults. That's what the public school system sort of broke up and destroyed.
Right.
Doesn't want that.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, we just saw that go down with that Tonga island, where they claimed there was a volcano, so they could go in and get those people off that island so that they could jab them and take over that island,
I didn't hear about that. That sounds crazy.
Oh yeah, well, it's near New Zealand, sort of. There was this island, and there was supposedly an underwater volcano. Yeah, right. And but really, I think it was because it's one of the last places on Earth where people were living freely.
Wow.
Like a tribe of people or something. And now they're just, they've been integrated into whatever country it was, New Zealand or whatever, Tonga. And so they lost their land, right? And now they're probably all jabbed, and they're being integrated into quote unquote civilization
for their own good,
for their own good, don't you know?
Yeah.
So that now the freaking asswipes get more land. That's so that they get to call theirs or whatever.
And there's like absolutely no new frontiers for people to settle, to get away from their rulership.
No, you're right. Yeah, we're done.
Not
with that.
unless you can get off planet.
Well, I mean, maybe Antarctica. I mean, who knows what the hell is going on in Antarctica, but it's pretty cold up there.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I mean, the Antarctica mystery will remain a mystery, probably.
The ice wall.
Yeah, what's up with that? I don't know, but I mean, it's all speculation because I've never seen it. I don't know, but who knows about that? But yeah, we don't have anywhere else to go to escape our destiny. We have to just face it now. We're at that point.
It comes to the point where you got to stand your ground and nowhere left to back up.
Karen?
What'd you say, Leslie?
Could you hear Chris? I just want to make sure he was talking loud enough.
Yeah, I did hear Chris. Yeah.
Oh.
I think.
I was just saying it gets to the point where you have to stand your ground.
Oh yeah, I did hear you. Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. That's where we're at now. I mean, nowhere else to run, no more people to kill off to take their land so we can escape that. So it's definitely, it's interesting times. But I believe, like, I think human nature is, well, I mean, just how you see, like, I think we are community oriented, and I've seen it where, like, even if that we actually are inherently good. I wouldn't even say that we're just completely blank, because I mean, I've seen it. Like, I used to live in New York City, and things would happen, like somebody would fall on the street or something like that. Like, this little lady fell down the street at one time, and everybody just like ran over to her. All of us strangers just ran over to her and helped her, and called the ambulance. And I don't know if that would happen now. It might not. I don't know. But I mean, even the doormen, like the doormen all helped out. And so to me, that shows inherent good within the human.
Like
I
an
don't
em-
know. I had the opposite experience in New York where I was walking down the street and there's this lady walking in kind of like in front, you know, she was like a couple of groups of people ahead of me, but she was just kind of like, you could kind of tell she was like going really slow and kind of staggering. And all of a sudden she just fell over like into the, like half like on the road and half on the sidewalk. And like I said, there's a couple, you know, groups of people ahead of me. All of those people walked past her. They just like kind of looked down at her and were just like, some drunk lady or whatever, you know. And then they just kept walking. And I actually stopped and, you know, there's a lot of kind of traffic going by on that road. And I kind of just like pushed her over onto the sidewalk. And then I stood there, and then all of a sudden I saw a police officer actually flagged down the police officer and was like, hey, look, this lady needs some help. And he started like helping her. And like, I don't know what happened after that. I left after that, but I at least stopped and flagged down like someone that I thought could help this person, you know. And I don't know if she was drunk or what the scenario was. Maybe she fell and had a heart attack. But when I pushed her onto the sidewalk more, like, she was unresponsive. And I just didn't know what to do. And I saw, you know, I started looking around. I was like, what, is there anything? And I saw a cop coming. I was like, just like waving my hands, like, yeah, pull over. And luckily he saw me. And so I hope the end result for that lady was good, but it was weird because there was just all these people just like walking by and like they didn't seem to care. Even when I was sitting there helping them, people were just like kind of like looking at me weird, like, why are you helping this lady?
Well, that's not how it used to be anyway.
But maybe, who knows, maybe it was the neighborhood I was in. I don't know.
Well, it's just weird because I mean, I was there for the blackout too in the 80s, and everybody helped each other for that too. So, I mean, maybe things have just changed. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if things just were terrible now there, but it didn't used to be like that.
But I did have a lot of, I would say that was only one experience that I had that was bad like that. I would say almost every other experience there was good. Like if I was ever lost or anything and asked for, you know, directions, people are always really helpful. And there was another situation where kind of a similar thing happened where someone was obviously in trouble and all these people swarmed around and we're helping them. But yeah, I don't know if it was just the neighborhood or the night, or it was just a weird, you know, maybe the astrology was weird that night. And so people were just kind of extra selfish that day. I don't know.
You know what I've seen? I've traveled around a good bit across the country and wound up, I used to have a really bad habit of getting lost in like the worst part of every city. And notice is like, there always is like kind of a worst part and a best part of every area. And there's like all in, you know, but most often people are like pretty nice and want to help each other and get along pretty well. There's certain pockets, people are like really like almost like dogs that you haven't fed. You know, they get angry and mean. And get in certain pockets of areas where people are really like backed up against the wall, and it's kind of dangerous to be there if you have anything that's valuable, you know. But as far as you go, like people are pretty decent, even in some of the worst neighborhoods. Sometimes you get the best treatment, and some homeless people would be some of the sweetest people you ever met that would take the shoes right off their feet and give them to you. You'd be surprised, you know.
Yeah, maybe that was the problem that night. I was in like a really rich kind of like area,
Oh,
and
there you
maybe
go.
they were just like kind of snobby people that were walking on the sidewalk, and they're just like, whatever, you know, we don't care about this lady.
Yep, she's probably just, you know.
And then like if I were in like the ghetto where I lived, you know, they probably would have been opposite. Like I feel like sometimes those worse areas, if you're like, if they know you're part of the neighborhood, they're going to stand up and look out for you, you know?
Yeah.
I had that happen in my own neighborhood. Like some of the other guys from the neighborhood were kind of looking out for me, and I didn't even know it. Probably the same guys that picked on me when I was a kid, but when I got older, they kind of like, just because I was part of their neighborhood, I was cool, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'd come back years later and see some of the kids that grew up in my neighborhood, and they're like tattoos all over their neck and stuff. And they'd give me some crazy handshake, and, you know, like I was an old buddy because, you know, where you grew up really mattered to those guys, you know?
Where was that?
Like East San Jose,
Oh, wow.
foothills.
Well,
Trying to paint this baby here.
yeah, that's cute. You're doing good. Again, as usual, I'm taking so many risks I would never have taken if I just tried to do this by myself. I tried to figure it out what I was going to do tonight, yesterday, and I could not figure it out. But the energy from this group always makes me do good, cool stuff.
We're gonna have to go to the art store. Better supplies.
I know. Get some better paper.
I'm going to have to go to the art store and get more supplies. I've been burning through a lot of supplies lately.
I'm just using regular stuff mostly. Stuff from Home Depot is what I'm using right now.
But yeah, it's pretty neat. Joanna's actually using a lot of recycled material for her artwork. She made this cool paper mache mix that she sculpted, like these really cool frames that are going around her paper sigil paintings.
Nice.
Yeah, I like to use recycled stuff if I can. Because I don't know, I feel like art is weird. Like I just feel that's a whole other topic, but that it was basically stolen from culture, the culture of the people, and made into a commodity. And now it's so crazy. You know, buying stretched canvases is crazy to me at this point. But that's what
right?
we all do that now.
Well, it's so much faster.
Right, but I mean, just think of what you're saying though. That's the whole
Yeah.
problem. This is
Whole
the
problem.
whole convenience.
It occurred to me like what would a Renaissance be? And when Renaissance, I think of art, and then it occurred to me that like I remember hearing a story about like gangsters of the world, like instead of a big amount of money, they trade like the Mona Lisa or something. They use art as a to make large value. And then it occurred to me that like art is priceless, and that if everybody in a particular community was making like really good, high quality art. And there was a like a culture of excitement around art and the value of it. Like that would make everybody rich. And you know, because everybody would own things of great to infinite value. And if each other valued them that way, and we made trades of value, then, you know, the whole areas could become super wealthy using just paper and canvas and clay and stone, you know, by just producing all kinds of magnificent art. A whole community could make its community like hella valuable, you know?
For sure.
Well, that's an interesting way of thinking about it.
It could also be used just as like a kind of like a voice that can
Oh, right there. All right.
cause change by, you know, all these people in the community doing this art together, and the subject matter that they're doing with the art is like challenging the status quo of what's going on in our society now.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's
So art can really be a tool to bring, you know, positive change if it's, you know,
like
understood how powerful it can be, you know, the symbolism within it.
And also the recorders of history in a way too. You know.
oh
Definitely.
yeah. Definitely. I mean, you know, you could just look at like the dancing thing in neighborhoods, like, you know, the
Mhm.
dance, how they decide to use dance instead of fighting and stuff.
Yeah.
Art could be that same.
West Side Story.
Oh yeah, West Side Story. That's cool. I was just thinking about like that, just how hip hop was born was out of
Yeah.
that.
That's what I thought of. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like you got the break dance battles and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Like if your crew wins the battle, then like you win the like kind of argument too, you know.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, but that's right there. That's
But
like,
that's like a
again,
non-violent, you know, method of handling, you know, things where someone's gonna have to make some compromise, you know.
right. But I mean, it's just, that's again, to me, that's like shows the inherent goodness of people that they came up with that. You know what I mean?
I think that you know, that like our physiology when we're born as infants, we're, like I said, dependent. And there's a wiring that happens to connect, to attach to another person because of that dependency. And I think we're all like wired to bond or attach and have community. And so that's like, think the inherent like goodness that comes. It's like the mirror neurons and the empathy. But then things in either how a child's treated or in life itself, it like messes up that attachment. It makes it insecure or anxious, or makes people not trust, you know, puts people in such confusion. And I think that that's where a lot of the hard, like treating people badly, losing empathy, having unresolved resentment, stuff like that, you know, it's all still damage the programming, really, emotionally. Some of it on purpose, some of it, you know, just happens, perhaps.
perhaps
Yeah.
perhaps instead.
Perhaps.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. But all these, you know, these are all environmental, you know, cultural things that help, you know, shape our programming as we grow up.
And yet I always think of like grace of God, you know, like somehow I do think that there's an inherent bias towards goodness, and like we see it in our bodies, an inherent self-healing capacity. And so I think that that's also there in terms of the human spirit, and something that seems possible, and it's in people to be good even in the middle of badness and evil, you know.
Yep, I
Mhm.
totally agree with that too.
The way I kind of define the good and evil thing in my podcast is just that, you know, like all creative energy is goodness, basically. It's just all good, you know. The only thing that's evil is something that tries to wreck that goodness, you know, that tries to destroy. That's why evil is the destruction of freedom, you know. It
Mhm.
limits
Yeah.
growth, you know. That's what stealing is. It's taking something that you don't even have, that you're trying to claim something that you've never, that's impossible to own. It's something that belongs to someone else, right?
Mhm.
I don't know. I love to keep on trying to define that. I feel like the way evil is often defined is a useless definition, you know, the way most people think of it, with like that, you know, it's like bad, and, you know,
Mhm.
Bad, it's that which impose that's stealing someone's rights. It's like hurting life. Right? Has to be a
I
threat.
just had like a thought too. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I just had a thought that of like people's tattoos, you know, it's like there's a lot of kind of like evil and dark. I feel like it's more popular to get skulls tattooed on your body than like hearts or something like that. I don't know.
It might be 50-50.
Maybe so. I don't know. I just feel like I see a lot of like people with tattoos, and there's a lot of like kind of negative stuff that they're putting on their bodies. I'm not saying this is inherently making them a good person or a bad person, you know, but
Why do you think that is, that people are doing, you know, kind of romanticizing that dark symbolism?
I think it's partly just the culture and like the like music. A lot of like there's a lot of music that influences that kind of dark side of stuff. And I mean, I don't have the actual answer, but I just kind of made that observation. And
Well, it could be like a, you know, archetypal thing, like a gargoyle to protect you from those evil forces. I don't know why people think that. I mean, I never thought that myself. I don't understand how that would work, but it does seem that way, that it's like a protection thing.
Oh, like griffins?
Yeah, well, I mean, just the negative tattoo, the negative seeming tattoos are some kind of protection against evil, similar to the way people would put gargoyles on a building to protect it.
Well, how about more just kind of like, it makes you seem scary. So it's like the way dogs rub themselves in dead stuff, you know, like then when someone else sees you and they're like, ooh, something scary on that person's dangerous.
Right,
You know?
so then they stay away from them.
Like I've seen people that dress in like when they got to ride the bus, they wear like chains and stuff, and they put black around their eyes so people stay away from them. So they, you know.
Well, it's the same
Just
the gargoyle. It's to scare off evil, you know. So if you don't feel tough, maybe you do something to make yourself look tough, you know.
Drive a big giant truck.
it's just, that is an interesting. I mean, I had a weird experience with the devil tattoo. I used to be a tattoo artist a long time ago, and I got a devil tattooed on my arm, and it was not a good thing. I'll tell you right now.
What did you notice?
Huh?
What did you notice?
Oh, well, I had a whole thing. It was a whole long thing. It had to do with, I was just talking with somebody about this the other day. It was kind of a sigil magic thing that happened to me in the 80s, where it started with me. One of my teachers brought this Mayan devil mask for us to paint, and the spirit of that thing kind of took me over. And eventually I got it tattooed on my arm, and it brought a very negative person into my life who looked a lot like it.
Wow.
And I
I-
had to go through this whole really bad process of trying to get rid of that person. And then one day I realized, oh my God, he looks like that tattoo. I'm going to get rid of that. And so I had to black it out. I actually had to cover it completely with black ink.
That's trippy.
Huh?
That's trippy. That's
Oh
big.
yeah, it was very trippy. It was very trippy. I still to this day don't really know what the whole story was. Like what I wish I could talk to someone who's like a shaman or something like that to find out exactly what happened. But I
Yeah,
mean,
it's like
I think it was like an initiation for me in a way.
like a Hitchcock episode.
Yeah.
What? Oh yeah, it
Right.
was. It was. But it went on for like let's see, 10 years, 11 years.
Oh God.
Because I saw the first time I saw that mask was in 1983, and then I saw it again in a window. He had made it into a cabinet, like he had made the mask into a devil holding a cabinet, and that was in 1993. So that's 10 years later, and then I used it as the basis of my master's thesis, and got it tattooed on my arm, and
Wow.
it was like it just went on and on and on. And so who knows, like this, that's why I feel like art has so much power, because whoever carved that mask really put a lot of power into it. I mean, I'm sure it was for a ceremony, and the problem was that it got sold into the American marketplace, art marketplace, right?
Mhm.
Out of Mexico. And so then once that happens, the energy is still in the mask from the ceremony, but now it's like aimed at whatever. It's not
Right.
it's not for the healing purpose that it was originally made for.
Wow. You know,
So
I was,
that's- huh?
I was just two things that this brings up for me. One is the idea of like certain symbols like runes, the rune symbols, they say be very cautious about putting them on your body as a tattoo or chanting any one a lot, because it will do something, right? It'll bring an energy with it that you will experience related to that deep meaning, the seed meaning of that rune symbol. So and then a lot of symbols, they're inverted. Like the symbol themselves may be neutral, it may be good, it may be bad, like the snake, could be used in sort of the dark way, or it could be used for good. And all these tattoos people are putting on their body, a lot of them are influenced by media or entertainment industry or something, they could be used for, to program people unconsciously,
Oh, sure, absolutely. Just look at all those logos that of all those big companies that are all Saturnian, or they're the cube.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all speaking to our ancient past, our subconscious ancient past.
Yeah. The symbolism and sigil stuff is so deep. Like, what a study, I barely can scratch the surface on knowledge of it.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, I have seen it where something that was meant for good used a certain symbol,
Mhm.
and the symbol basically was more powerful than the thing itself. So it made it turn upside down.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the symbolism, they know that, the power, that those people know that, and we just act ignorant of that stuff. But it really does have a negative influence on us. And we don't, or some kind, an influence that may go against what we originally intend or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Certain phrases that's always occurred to me as very interesting magic that goes on, where I find myself like not using certain terms and words that other people say just because I don't want to be part of the magic,
Mhm.
oh yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. Lately, there's certain things I won't say because I'm like, where is this from? What is this about? I don't like it.
Just don't even feed into it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because repetition is programming, even if we know better, but we could still be reading it or saying it over and over again and programming ourselves inadvertently, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I mean,
By leaving workplaces, you know, not going along to get along, you know? You have to make a stand.
well, boy, I never would have done this. This is so far from what I was planning on doing. Wow, that's crazy. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. But that's what this is. Yeah, it's so cool. I get so much out of this thing. I do so much, but I have to let it dry now.
This is such an innovative idea, you know, like it's just, I love the activity of it and without any real in stone plan, you know. Very cool.
Yeah, well, it came to us, because we were collaborating and it just came to us. So I think it was from God,
Yeah.
for lack of a more in the
Well, we
non-religious
just
sense.
started doing stuff, and then we were having fun, and we're like, let's just keep doing it, and invite more people.
Yeah.
Natural progression.
I mean, there used to be art salons, people used to do art together.
Yeah. I used to have friend groups that would do that together and I miss that.
Plus, I mean, I think that the freedom community, we need to not just talk, not just do podcasts where there's one person talking, just have and not have it be an interview, have us be doing something together while we're talking about this stuff, because who knows? I mean, it's a great way to sort of I definitely get really good downloads as long as I'm doing stuff like this on a regular basis. Maybe not during it, but later.
Mm.
Just with that.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
something good for me. It's like it almost helps with my accountability too. It's like, oh, I have this thing every Tuesday and I have to do art during it. And so it's like it's in some ways just forcing me to be more creative and do more art. And it's all art that I've been wanting to do for like a really, really long time. And I just need to, it's helping, just force, me to have that accountability. Oh, I have this, the thing on Tuesday night. I need to, have an idea. I need to do some more art.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had quit doing art for a long time.
Yeah, I haven't in a very long time either. So it's actually nice just to mess around here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did a good job. See, I think that art is extremely powerful, and they really tried hard to make sure that people don't do it. Because oh, go ahead. What?
Or make it unattractive. I have a 14-year-old and she is still in the public school, and she took an art class at the beginning of the year, and she was so irritated with the art class because it wasn't allowing any free expression. It was they were just telling them exactly what to do.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so she didn't class. She didn't like it.
Criminal.
So it's like they formulated art. They're like, oh, this is how you do art.
Yeah.
Put a line here, a curved line here. Now put a straight line here.
Oh, wait, that was wrong.
Yep. Yep.
You did
there's
that
A lot
wrong.
of criticism
I was charging good.
with art, and and I think they're gearing a lot more towards the tech stuff, like practical, maybe left brain kind of use of graphics or something. I don't know what they're doing.
Well, they don't want artists. They don't want
they
artists.
don't.
They want draftsmen.
Yeah.
That's more of like the draftsman kind of thing. Like, oh, here you can draft this. you know, we're going to tell you what to draft, and you draft it, make it look like what we want it, because we're the ones telling the story here, you know, instead of
Yeah.
an artist is creating what they want to create, and they're expressing their feelings or their, you know, maybe their trauma or whatever, you know, to the world. And it is almost like a draftsman mindset is almost more like that left brain kind of way of, you know, almost sterilizing art, whereas the right brain is more like the free thinking, kind of like, oh, the creative
Yeah.
aspect of art. And I've always been juggling that as an artist, where sometimes I have to be a draftsman and sometimes I can actually just do what I want and have fun.
Mhm. I think they're creating workers to fit into
Yep.
niches, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't want you to be connected to God and within you. They want people not to know about that. They're trying to get rid of it completely. They're trying to get, you know, because we could have they don't want us to be intuitive. They don't want us to be have a connection to power other than them. They want to be the power only.
Yeah.
Well, they just want good little workers for their corporations, you know, that they can keep
Well, I mean, I don't
exploiting.
know about that because of the AI thing. I don't know how long they want that to be, because they seem to want to, but they definitely don't want you to know that you have power within yourself. They definitely don't want that. No. We were just talking about this.
Hmm.
Oh, I know what we were talking about. My friends and I were talking about, I think we were talking about this a little bit last time. You guys are familiar at all with Findhorn
Yes.
and the MAP program, the MAP health program,
I think yes.
you know, with the nature spirits,
Yes. Somebody gave me a book about
the
that.
MAP book. Yeah, the MAP book.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a really powerful thing. Okay. But they really, so what was amazing was that the lady who wrote that book got jabbed. And it's amazing that
Really?
they got her to somehow maybe
Really?
come to peer pressure, because she was connected completely to nature spirits and in the 80s, 90s or whatever. But she ended up getting the jab, which is amazing. And yeah, she's got this farm in Virginia called Paralandria, where
Yeah.
they meditate and get the information of how to plant their garden from the nature.
Right. Yeah, I read her bio. Somebody gave me 2 of her books, actually. I read one of them and like only partly went through the other. But I was just telling Chris about that the other day.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting stuff. I mean, I love that stuff, and I try to practice it when I go into nature.
Yeah, I was telling Chris that's what I want to do more of. You know, I want to be like her and go talk to the devis of the plants and
Yeah.
you know.
Is that your artwork, Chris?
Yeah.
Are you showing us your artwork?
Yeah, he's showing off.
Yeah, I'm
That's
trying
neat. That's really cool.
Get it in the frame.
His and mine. His is on top of mine.
Oh, that's neat.
This is Leslie's.
That's
Oh,
it's
nice.
fake. Oh, neat.
Nice.
And then this was the one I drew last week, and I just highlighted it.
Colored it.
this week.
That's neat.
Pretty.
Yeah, when you finish some of that stuff, you know, you guys can, if you want to put it up on I think I sent you an invite to the Discord server, Chris. And if you want to,
Yeah,
but if you guys want to put it up there, then I could probably fetch some of it and put it on the website if you want us to.
yeah, I'll have to take a picture. I didn't
I
want
mean,
to.
when it's done and stuff or whatever, you know, if you're comfortable with that, sharing it that way.
Yeah, last week I was like, oh, I definitely want to color it first.
Yeah.
Some of my highlighters are running out.
Oh, you will have to make a run to the art supply store or something like that. Or you could, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I mean, I invested in acrylics for this project, which was kind of expensive. I was kind of blown away by how expensive they were, but
Yeah,
You'll never regret getting them though.
Huh. Oh, baby's head's coming along.
Yeah, that's really good. Are you using a picture at all, Woody?
I had a little reference picture, yeah.
Okay, good. Because I mean, otherwise, really, you're freaking me
Yeah,
out
no,
there,
I
buddy.
could say and be like, oh yeah, no, I just busted that out from imagination. I probably could have done something pretty close from
It
an
does look like
imagination, but
Ollie, though. Is it Ollie?
no, it's just some random kid. I think that probably it's weird. Like no matter who like you paint, some of your self always goes into the painting, and so that might be what's causing it to look like my son a little bit.
Yeah, that is. See, that's where I think the power of art is that, and that's what's occulted is like, whenever you do art, part of you goes into it, and that's what I think happened with that devil mask, and I think that's what they're, those native people are doing is you can put energy into the artwork, but you
And
can
then that
also,
energy, I was going to add that when someone looks at that artwork, then that energy goes into them too.
or you can do like where we got our name from is you can draw from nature, and then nature's energy goes into you.
Yes.
I mean, it's an exchange that happens. It's not just random. It's not just for like your enjoyment. There's an actual spiritual purpose in it, which has been occulted because it's too much power. They don't want us to know about that. That's
Kind of
what
like breathing and yoga practices that are like powerful things you can actually do with your body. And then, art is one of those powerful things you can do with your psyche and your body, because you combine these different senses in a weird way, and you get a different sense where you can tune into the creative energy, the source energy.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
have no idea what I'm going to do with this, but I'm going to probably, I have to let it dry. I guess I could.
You gonna go over this a little bit?
Because I got
Oh.
2K7.
I'll go over.
I should put something under here. What should I put? Oh. Did they go? Oh, you're still there, right? Where are you?
Yeah,
Where's
here.
I don't see you.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
We're here.
We're there. There you are. Good.
I guess we all started concentrating on our art.
Yeah, for sure. I did start concentrating. on art, for sure.
Which isn't a bad thing.
No, it's another layer. I gotta let this dry because I can't. I gotta let this dry. Can't.
Starting to insert. I got the game console or cartridge going into the kid's head, starting that now.
Oh, that's great. That's
See how it
interesting.
works out.
I have to let this dry. I don't know what else to do right now. I could add some water to this. Put it into
What symbol should I put on the game cartridge inside the kid's head? Should I put like a heart or like an anarchy symbol or?
that.
I
Well,
was gonna
whatever.
It's the anarchy symbol.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I
But
like
that,
that.
I just happen to be drawing that right now.
Yeah.
That's
Because I'm gonna
cool.
put some other like just cartridges that aren't in the head up here, like maybe like different like religion symbols or something like that, or maybe put like a badge or something, like a symbol of authority on one of them or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, good. Anarchy. That's interesting that you guys both thought of that at the same time while we're working together. I mean, it's also interesting that we are talking about these topics that like we brought up the map thing and you guys just found out about it and everything. That's also I find very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Just the synchronicity of that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I've been using that for a long time for healing.
You're still not charging this.
No.
When I was out walking today, I was thinking about being an animal. Like I'd like to embrace more of my animal self than the human part.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I don't want to be part of this craziness that's going on. I want to be more like the birds
Mm.
and the
I won't.
trees. I was listening to those. We have these gackles that migrate from Mexico and they all make different sounds. They're so fun to listen to.
Yeah.
The-
Maybe you're just jealous because they're free. They can just fly around.
Oh,
and
I think
you-
so. I think we are jealous. I think I am definitely, yeah, I think definitely that's a big part of it with animals. Like people are like inherently jealous of them. And that's why we treat them the way we do because they are free.
Yeah.
You think the trees are jealous of us for being able to walk and around?
No, I don't think so. I think that trees are like, stay away from me, you crazy person with your chainsaw. No, I mean, I think being a tree is probably like a high spiritual
Uh-huh.
position because you have to stay there and grow and just observe everything that's going on.
Tree has always been one of my totems.
I know. I love the tree. I'm like obsessed with trees and just how expressive they are and resilient and like the way they're, rooted, but then they're flexible when the winds come. And there's so many great things about trees.
Yeah, plus how they look, just like when you can just see all the designs in the branches.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Shapes of the leaves.
Leaves are fractals.
Yeah.
What?
Leaves are fractals of the tree. If you look at the leaf, you look at the tree, they look similar.
What?
Check it out.
Yeah.
Are
They
you serious?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, I never noticed that before. Wow.
Yeah, especially works with aspens and alder trees. Yeah,
So you mean
Well,
like the line down the middle is
yeah,
the trunk?
that's the limbs.
Holy crap. I just never knew that. Never saw that before. Wow. Huh. I'll definitely check that out for sure. Wow.
I love the trees. I live kind of in the forest a little bit on the edge of this creek here in Colorado. And I have like some really magnificent blue spruce trees that are just ginormous, like massive because they're near the creeks, they like get a lot of water, so they're just like massive. Like the trunk on one of these things is like, it almost looks like a redwood or something, but it's not, because it's not as tall and stuff. And it's just like, I can't even reach my arms around all the way around some of the trunks on those trees.
Nice.
Uh,
What is the state of freedom in Colorado right now? What's it like been like through all this COVID stuff?
Well, there's a lot of people driving around by themselves in their cars with masks on.
I love it.
And there's a lot of people walking their dogs with masks on. I've seen still to right now, even though everything's been lifted, everything's lifted and everybody acts like it's over, which annoys me very much. But we do have like a large freedom community here that
Yeah.
I'm involved with. But we are kind of lackadaisical, in my opinion. Like, I feel like we should be more proactive and not just acting like everything's fine now. But I mean, I think Colorado like is not really even Colorado anymore that much, because of once the pot laws changed, so many people moved here, and it's become a blue state. Whereas before it was not. It was a swing state, but it was mostly red, I would say. And now it's like California.
Wow.
I only say California that way because I am from there.
we're not offended.
Don't be offended. But I mean, my brother is there. My sister is in California, so, and they're all triple
Yeah,
jabbed.
I would say that we were probably one of the, as far as the states that are on the Democratic side of things, I feel like we were maybe a little bit less strict on the lockdowns than like maybe like Pennsylvania or,
You think?
Washington State, maybe even California too. I don't know. I felt like
But
we did
we've
have
had-
a lot of mandates and stuff, but I feel like it was a little bit less than some of the other heavily Democratic states.
But we have this scumbag governor who is probably
there-
not even from here. He's probably a plant, and he's got a dual citizenship with Israel, so I don't trust him at all.
Pueblo was pretty chill.
Huh?
Pueblo was pretty chill.
Yeah,
No real-
Pueblo's chill. I'm sure of that. But even like out on the plains, we have property out on the plains, and I went out there, and there were some people that I met out there that I couldn't believe that they were like all masked up and everything. Because I would
Wow.
think in the more rural areas they would be more, smart.
Yeah, more freedom aware. Like, I mean, I think up in Northern California,
Oh, there's a stark difference as you travel through
Yeah.
California.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, you guys are lucky. Really, you are blessed to be where you are.
yeah.
Well, I came up here because of where I lived before was Naziville, and I
Oh,
wasn't
where were you?
having it. Santa Rosa.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Even after the fires?
Yeah, it
It's
was just.
terrible.
Yeah, I lived. Yeah, I woke up in the middle of the night and evacuated one of those fires. Luckily, my stuff didn't burn, but it was close. Very close.
Wow.
I decided to get out of that. area.
But people didn't like go, shit, something fishy going along here. They didn't say that.
Very few. Very few.
Huh.
Most people are pretty satisfied to say it's, oh, we just haven't been managing the forests properly.
Oh, global
They-
warming.
engineering, they don't see any government manipulation. They don't see anything.
That's crazy. I know. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty scary.
After COVID, I really realized where I lived. I didn't know it was like that until I saw the masks on everybody and the way they were acting about it. It was just mind blowing to me. I was like, I had no idea. These are the people I live around. This is terrible. This is disgusting. These people are acting like everything has changed when nothing has changed.
Blind lemmings.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
You
was
know,
pretty
it's like I'm seeing a blue sky and they're saying the sky has changed to pink, and they're all convinced of it, but I'm absolutely sure they're all wrong. Is the way I felt, and I was walking around in a whole everywhere I looked with people that were convinced the sky is pink, and it was making me crazy.
The Emperor's New Clothes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's such a great analogy.
Yeah, it really is.
That's
I've thought of
scary.
it more than once.
Yeah, I know. My sister lives in Marin County. She
I
sent
mean,
me
I
that.
used to want to go to play, like, think I'd like to be in like Santa Cruz or something. And now I'm like, thank God I'm not there,
Oh,
or
right. Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, my sister our old family house is in Inverness, which is in Marin County.
even like Arcata, going to the coast up here they're so strict about masks. It's
Oh my
terrible.
God.
Even in like outdoor vendors, like food trucks.
Oh
They
my
won't
God.
serve you. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's
No, I
amazing.
noticed in some parts of Colorado, like I know like Telluride. I didn't actually go there, but I had some friends that went there, and they were like Telluride was like extremely strict about things.
Of course,
And
they're
like
extremely wealthy.
it was
That's the
like
thing.
really
Well,
hardcore.
it has to do with
I lived in Durango for 21 years, and I left because I couldn't engage with people about my art. And this guy who became a friend, he moved there about a year before I moved, and we became friends. And very, very awake guy. And he says I had to leave, man, because they just started calling me Trumpers, because I wouldn't wear a mask. You're a Trumper. It's like, no, man, I'm not. And it's pretty darn pathetic. It's
Yeah.
not good. Not good.
Yep, it's amazing. It's truly amazing. I know. It is amazing. I don't really get it though. I'm like, wow. How come I can see this so clearly and you can't?
Exactly.
It's just it's weird. It's just weird. Like my brother had a heart attack last week, and he went and got a quadruple bypass in Santa Clara, and there was we all had this signal group that we were in where we were like checking on him and stuff. And right as he's leaving, he has a mask on, and I'm like, why is he wearing a mask? And my niece is like, well, we have to leave the hospital room and go out into the world. And I'm like, so?
Right. And that's required.
How's the mask going to help with that?
I'm like, and then I just thought, Joanna, just shut up, okay? Your brother had a heart attack. Don't push him any further. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
they're
it
just
was
not
a
going to
trip.
get it.
But they're just totally like, hook, line, and sinker. And then he had to go back to the hospital again, and because his heart rate went up or something, and they're like, oh, we have to get medication to lower his heart rate. And I'm like, maybe he's up for a reason, maybe his body knows what it's doing, but I mean, I'm just like, I just try not to talk to them too much because I just don't think the way they think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
You're probably not going to be well received, right?
No, I won't be real well received, and I need to be like thoughtful of his situation right now, not thoughtful of like, but it freaks me out. It just freaks me out that they're that stupid. I'm like, are you really my siblings? I mean, how can you be this dumb and be my sibling? I don't understand. I don't get it. Did
No.
we come from the same family here? But they are intellectuals, which I think is a problem.
Yeah. Too much education.
Yeah,
Yes.
wasn't Socrates used to say some good things about that? Yeah, he had some choice words for the people that call themselves educated.
Oh.
Oh, really? Yep, they are Yaleys.
Yeah. I think going to college now is a disadvantage to people's intelligence.
Yep, for sure. Definitely. Talk about programming. My God. I mean, I went to art school, so whatever. I just partied and made art. So whatever. It was just fun.
Same here.
In the 80s, though, that was the 80s. Things were still, you could still get away with thinking that things were something else. I mean, yeah, Reagan got elected. I was like blown away. I'm like, what? How could this be? But that was like the beginning of my thinking things were awry.
Mhm.
But it was a long time before I figured out anything real. So I don't know.
I am going to excuse myself to make something for a potluck.
Okay, it was great having you.
Yeah,
That's fun.
But yeah,
I'll join you again when I can.
I hope so.
sounds great.
Is it cold there, Chris?
We just had a little bit of rain, but by no means cold.
It's all relative.
Yeah, right. I just saw her jacket. I was like, wow, is it cold there? Because it's like
Oh, well,
80
warm
degrees.
here.
we're hanging out in the garage, so it is a little cooler. It's kind of a rainy day, which we don't normally get here.
Oh, really? You don't get a lot of rain up there?
Well, you should, but not since we've been weather engineered into a drought.
Oh,
Well,
nice.
We don't get
Nice.
winters anymore, really.
No?
Uh-oh.
Oh my
And
God.
the
you're
phone's about to
kidding.
run out of batteries, so I'll probably have to cut out.
All right. Well,
All right.
thank you.
Charge it with this
for
like
having me.
backup thing that's not working apparently.
Well,
But cool.
we'll
Yeah.
do this
Thanks,
next
guys.
time. It was
Welcome.
fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
I'll send you guys some screenshots, I guess. On this.
Please do that. We'll put them in the Discord channel.
Leslie just made this really cool little rose. Well, she was.
Let me see.
sitting-
Let me see. No, we can't see. You
Get
have
it.
to send me-
Come on, phone. 10% battery remaining. Can we get it here? How do I switch it around?
Neat. You
Nice.
guys are doing so good. This is so awesome. I'm glad you're doing this. Is she
Yeah, this
cutting
is
it
what-
out? That's your anarchy symbol. Neat.
Nice.
It has an eyeball in the middle, but you can't see it because the
I can
glare.
see it.
Let's see
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Cool.
great.
All right, guys.
Come back
Thanks.
next time.
Yeah, good to
Great.
see you guys.
As usual.
All right, have a good one.
See ya.
You too.
Well, this is so weird, this thing. I have no idea. But I have to let it dry. See, I'll show you. It's really weird. It's so weird. I'm gonna make it look cool eventually, but right now it looks like, not cool, but it will be cool eventually.
I have 100% trust.
You do. I know, but I'm thinking, which way should it go? Should it go this way? No, it'll go this
Is the
way.
rub.
But how's this gonna be? Cardboard is not that easy to work with, I find. I mean, I don't really have a good implement to cut it with. I don't really know what I would use. I've been using single edge razor blades, and I've got like a callus on my finger, a spot on my finger that has no more feeling in it.
You need a box cutter.
Yep, you need a box cutter.
Okay. Oh, box cutter. You mean like a cardboard? Okay.
Yeah, like the utility knife, maybe is the correct word for it.
Okay. Yeah. I
You
can
put
do-
you put the razor blades in it, and then like it has a little retractable thing, and that works pretty good for cutting cardboard.
Yep. But I still can't do intricate cuts though.
Or taking down a plane. Works for that too.
Yes. Taking down a plane. I know. I was thinking that when you said it. What are you doing? Let's look at what is Jeff doing?
Fucking mess.
Huh?
It's a
It's
mess.
making a cool slurry of.
I made it. Yeah, I made the slurry of the metal and the epoxy,
Oh,
and
let
I'm
me see.
using, frog tape, but this piece of metal is really. This is okay. I'll describe how this.
Yeah, I can't really see it right now.
You see the
but-
backside of it? It's really
Yeah.
smooth,
Yeah.
but rusty and irregular.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
this was used in a rail process to grind. When they weld rails together, there's a lot of excess and they have to grind it. And
Yeah.
so this grinding, metal sparks, right? It
Yeah.
piles up and then it reconstitutes itself into metal again.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, so on the backside, it's really pretty smooth because it was on top of some other piece of metal that was part of the machine.
Yeah.
And so I have a bunch of these things. They're really, really interesting. And
Yeah.
I've actually welded them too. But
Oh, that's
anyway,
neat.
this is kind of a mess. I didn't want that clear epoxy there. So whatever, it'll be what it is.
Yeah, that's the way it is. I mean, unless you can get it off, which I don't know.
Well, this is like experimental.
Right.
And I love to do these kind of experiments. It's like
That's awesome.
because I don't know the end result. I don't know what it's going to be or how it's going to work or how I can utilize it
Or if it's going to work.
or if it's going.
Oh, you're gonna make it work. He's gonna make it work one way or the other. Like this thing right now, to me, I could say, oh, this is trash, but it's not. I'm gonna make it work.
No, you got.
I'm gonna make it work. I made it like 3D, which is what I wanted to do. Maybe what I could do now is paint the back of this rose because I don't like seeing the white. Yep. I mean, it's very strange. This is so strange. I haven't done, this is just so strange. Everything is so strange. I miss my comfortable little world I was in, boy. Wow. Where's my comfort zone?
It's good.
Yeah.
Push that sucker.
Oh man. Was this like, this one's not open yet. I don't really want to open it.
Good. You're uncomfortable. That means you're growing.
Oh yay. Woohoo. Screw that noise. Boy, it sucks though. It really doesn't feel good.
Can you tell I listened to some Richard Grove autonomy stuff last week?
Oh, did you? What'd you do? What did you listen to?
I listened to part of the class last week.
Oh, did you?
Can you drop in anytime as being a former student? Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can
So
drop into
what
the
did you listen to the Friday night lecture?
some of it. Yeah.
Woo! Really?
Well, I was working on that animation, and I was like, I might as well put it on in the background.
Oh no, she can't.
So, but he was saying like he kept saying like you got to get out of your comfort zone to grow, and like you have to get out of your comfort zone to like learn new things and to move forward and be successful. You know. And it's
Yeah,
true.
to make art, I mean, you need to have that. If you got that queasy feeling in your stomach, you're really going in the right direction.
Frick.
Kind of scaring yourself.
I am scared myself. Honestly, I really am. I don't like
Yeah,
it.
I'm glad I'm here to witness it.
Or if you do a piece and you're like, oh no, I'm kind of afraid to share this with the world, that means you're on the right track too.
You guys think so? Really?
Maybe because, you know, deep down, you want to be part of the community and fit in with your peers and stuff. But like releasing a certain piece of artwork might affect some of those relationships because it's like really showing your views and how the changes we need to make in the world and stuff like that, which some of that stuff isn't always easy to digest.
No, I very much agree. You know, that it's comfortable to you, but people that you know and people you don't know, they take it another way, and I get overly concerned about that. You know, I shouldn't give a shit at all. Just shouldn't care.
Oh, right. Well, I haven't showed any of this stuff to my family. Oh, I'm doing the truth show, and these are our inalienable rights. Yeah, right. That's really what I'm gonna. No, not gonna tell them. No.
Oh, really?
Hell no. Are you kidding me? They would flip out. I don't think they would like that, but that's fine. No, this is the first time I've talked to my family in like many years over my brother's.
Because your brother, yeah.
My brother's heart attack. I was pretty tame. I did say some things that probably would freak them out. Because my brother's a scientism guy.
Oh, yeah.
He had faith in the doctors. I was like, oh, good luck with that.
Yeah, but
Have
what about the other doctors that don't have faith in what the other doctors are saying? I mean, would he ever go there?
What? No, are you serious? No way. He's totally bought in the whole thing.
Well,
Oops.
there's a battle. There's like a civil war in medicine right now, and there's like the naturopathic kind of doctors, and then there's the pharmaceutical doctors, and they're battling each other right now. And like there was something I saw like not that long ago that was like the FDA was trying to ban all these different supplements and stuff. I think one of them was aloe vera to be sold in stores as a like plant medicine, or supplement. And aloe vera, there's like all kinds of good stuff that aloe vera can do. You can get rid of heartburn with the by drinking aloe vera juice, or you can get the aloe vera fillet stuff that you can drink, or just like it's really good for burns if you want to put it on a burn and stuff. And it's like they're
Yeah, I've
making
been putting
moves
it-
like,
I've been
oh,
putting-
we can FDA ban this as like a toxic substance, then we can take it off the shelves of the natural grocery stores and stuff.
Yeah, I've been putting it in my eyes lately because my chiropractor told me his wife is telling me she's using it to make her eyes stronger. Gloria, leave me alone. Dang it. This chick just wants me to answer the phone, and I'm not
But
going
like
to.
drinking a thing of aloe vera juice is more effective than taking Tums to get rid of heartburn. So it's like,
Oh no,
they don't
can't
want
have that.
You have that.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no.
Like I had a friend that I used to work with, and he was like on like some sort of medication for like heartburn. Like he said, like he
Acid
had like some,
reflux.
yeah, like he's like, I have acid reflux disease and I forgot my medication and I drank some spicy, right? Like Mexican food for lunch. It's acting up. And I'm like, oh, I have some aloe vera. Fill it in the refrigerator here if you want to use it. And I'm like, yeah, just drink like, I don't know, like a shot glass full and see how it makes you feel. And he drank some and he's like, oh my God, this relieved it like instantly. And it was, and it worked better than the medication he was on, he said. He was like, how much was this thing? I was like, no, it's like $14 for like a whole, you probably can get like 8 or 9 shot glasses full, it's not even that expensive. So he was pretty stoked that I shared that with him.
Right. Well, nature. I mean, we're from nature, and I mean the whole thing that what our whole we're all programmed to believe that nature is trying to kill us, and so we have to kill nature. But really, nature's trying to help us. So
in some ways, it's unbiased. It puts all the things we need in front of us, but it also puts things that we have to watch out for there too. There is danger in nature still.
yeah, this is going to be really weird. This thing is so weird.
So how's the anarchy symbol? What's that? Is it an A with a circle around it with a cross through it, or?
I don't
Pretty
think it has
much,
a cross through it. I think it's just an A.
The A, a lot of times the A will have like the line that makes the middle part of the A
Cross line
like
goes on each
goes
side?
all the way through.
Okay, goes all the way through and shows itself. Okay.
Yeah, I think I have a small one. It's probably you probably can't see it very well. I did paint it in on my thing here.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, like I said, it might be a little bit small to see, but I can move my camera closer for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. What, do you have to have the circle?
I think so.
Oh, man.
I'm
I
not
don't
sure
have it.
why.
I don't have enough shit for that.
Oh, you want to do it? Well, do it your
Yeah.
way. What the hell? Who cares?
The way of the
Most-
material.
Look, you're an anarchist. There's no right way to do it.
Yeah, you're right. You don't have to fucking ask. permission.
No, do it your own way. Fuck, that's true anarchy.
Yeah, I mean, most of the people that rock this symbol are fake anarchists anyways. They don't really understand what it really is.
Yeah, I agree. They're fake. They're full anarchists.
Well, that's definitely had to have been obfuscated so that people think it's violence.
When I was in Europe in 79 and 80,
Oh boy.
there was anarchy all over the, I mean, their symbol was all over the place, all over Europe. It was happening.
I was there in 81, but not for very long, just in England.
Never been to England.
Where'd you go?
Went from Berlin to Greece.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, we had our first class rail pass. My buddy, performance artist, and him and his partner were performing at the Mickery Theater in Amsterdam for a month. And I came for their last show, saw that, and then toured with one of them. The other one came back to Chicago, and it was a really good fun tour. We didn't see a lot of ruins, but we met a lot of interesting people, and they were very generous, very generous. Put us up many times. It's a really good experience.
Yeah, earlier, like, I don't know, someone was commenting about how they went to art school and they didn't necessarily learn that kind of stuff in art school as far as the kind of the power that artwork has and stuff. And it was funny, I was lucky in art school because I had a couple teachers that were from Europe, and they were Eastern Estonians from Estonia. And like they like I had like a storyboarding class with this teacher, and we were all coming up with our storyboards, and he was like, like you Americans have nothing to say.
You guys are vacuous, yes.
And we're like, what do you mean? Because we were just like coming up with like goofy stories and stuff. He's like, you have nothing to say politically or culturally, you guys gotta like. And so that kind of like challenged us. We're like, he's right, and we need to like, that's important, and we need to pay more attention to that. And I think that comment by that teacher helped me kind of question things a little more, and just try to like understand that, hey, look, art has a purpose that's beyond just making jokes or having a cool fantasy story, or there's a place for all that stuff, or just being pretty, there's a place for that, but like
Pretty.
there's also the aspect of it, like that you need to like challenge like the status quo with like the art you're doing and stuff.
Yep.
To an extent. And I'm glad that teacher kind of instilled that into us a little bit.
Yeah, when I was young, I don't think I had anything to say because I didn't have enough, life experience to actually compare it to anything. I was searching for it. I was reading books and things, but never. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I think I didn't even recognize that there was a problem until like I started asking questions and looking into stuff, and then that's when I was like, wait a minute. And I basically like my first, I think it was like my second year in college is when 9/11 happened. And that, not only did we have that comment from the teacher, but we also had that event that took place, and there was a lot of questionable stuff around that event. And that helped me in my journey to like start asking questions and stuff for sure.
I have to take a moment.
Just get my
Yeah, I didn't-
background
I don't think
color
I-
in here.
Yeah, I don't think I questioned the event until probably 2007.
And it wasn't even necessarily that event. Like I just kind of had an intuitive feeling that there was something fishy with that event. And we had a friend that was like Spanish, and we were watching the Spanish TV with him, and
Yeah.
like there were like anomalies in the coverage versus like how the Spanish television was portraying the thing, and like just the normal mainstream television was portraying the thing. And intuitively I knew something was up. I wasn't really sure it was necessarily attached to that event until later on, but I knew like that it was time to start like questioning like what the mainstream's putting out, and it's time to start like looking into different things, looking under rocks that I didn't know I had to look under before.
Well, you didn't even know the rock was there to look under it.
Right. And so I started getting into different researchers and just reading different books and stuff that, started taking me in a new direction.
Yeah, same here. Did you,
And then I had like another, like, cause I'm in Colorado, we had not that long before that, we had the Columbine event,
Sure.
which was pretty traumatic for someone who's in high school, and then, within like, I could, from where I lived, then it was like a 20-30 minute drive, and I could be right at the Columbine High School.
yeah,
In fact, one of my favorite parks to go play and ride bikes at when I was in like elementary school age and stuff like that was a park called Clement Park, which borders the Columbine High School.
that's
And,
a pretty wealthy community, isn't it?
There is a lot of money in that area for sure.
Lakewood?
It is a mixed kind of bag there, but like, yeah, it's like a pretty wealthy suburbia kind of, maybe not as much as Highlands Ranch, but it's like not far from there either. And like, it's, there's definitely some money there. And then, I had friends in high school who had cousins that like actually went to school down there and stuff, like, so it's like some connections.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still think, I definitely watch it. I don't think I know humans are programmable. And
Did you have any awake friends back then?
I don't think I was really even fully awake back then myself, but I definitely had friends that we were all kind of starting to question things at the same time. And some of those friends to this day, I don't know if they've continued the questioning as much as I have.
Yeah, right.
And so some of those friends would maybe have strong opinions in opposition to the opinions I have now.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Yeah, there were really very few people that were awake in Durango, and out of all my friends, there really was only one.
Yeah.
And that's freaking weird.
There's different levels too, like I
Yeah,
have
there's
friends
different levels for sure.
that are at different points in the journey, and I'm still probably have things that I could look into and research too. I mean, life is a constant learning and programming of my being, and
Or deprogram.
I don't know everything yet,
Yeah, I don't.
I probably never will know everything, but
Well, but you're curious, and
yeah. And that's what's like drives me. And actually part of my becoming more awake has made me want to create more artwork, just because it's like I see the need to like share these conceptual ideas, that I've come to understand. And I feel like art is a good way to do that.
I totally agree, and it makes it creates a record that very well could be digital, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, could be digital, it can be just traditional, but also digital. A lot of people like we're taking pictures of stuff and storing those pictures of our artwork digitally, even though it might just be like a painting.
Right. Yeah, hopefully the show attracts some good work, and I really do want to make a book out of it. So
That'd be
we'll
cool.
see. Yeah, we'll see. That's a goal. I think I have a photographer that will help me out, and he's really good at shooting art. So
Nice.
Yeah. So
I do some like video work and video editing and stuff. So if you needed help putting any of that together, I could help with that too.
I would. I mean, how about maybe for part of the opening, there's a live stream. Are you okay with that?
I could probably do that. I could probably arrange that.
That would be great. So I'm just planting the seed. And this art professor at CSUP, Colorado State University Pueblo, he has a show in the big gallery, but he only has taken up half of it, but that's okay. But so they replaced like 8 or 9 projectors, and he gave me one.
Oh, nice.
Which is awesome. And then it would be great if we could do some projection on the stage or something during the opening. Who knows what it's going to be, but I think I'll learn a little bit about how Float Fest does it.
Right.
Have you been to one of these festivals before?
I have not been to a Freedom Fest.
Oh, dude. You're gonna love it.
Our peoples.
Our peoples. Somebody actually, like I said, I saw someone say, who wants to go to Float Fest from Denver, and I checked it out, but I just don't want to go through all that right now. Next week, when I have to do I am actually going to start doing First Friday up here.
Where?
South Pearl Street.
Okay.
I'm going to do fortune telling, my oragraphs and oracle readings.
Nice.
So I do little drawings for people and read them. So I have to be ready for that, like on the 8th. It's whatever, First Friday is the 6th, right? So I'd be getting back 2 days before that. Oh no way. I'm not ready for that. So it was the thought. I had a momentary hippie thought, like, oh yeah, let me get in the van with some people I don't know and go to, and I was like, plus it would cost me like $1,000 too. The money I wouldn't make plus the money I'd have to spend.
You get to see your boss.
No, whatever. I'll see him. He's coming to Colorado to visit his brother. His brother lives in Monarch.
Okay. Well, that's
or whatever that place is.
pretty close to
Colorado
here.
Springs. Yeah.
When's he going to do that?
I guess in July he's coming out.
Well,
I hopefully I'll get to see him. I hope I get to see him someplace.
have him
But
come to Pueblo,
well, he's going to see his brother, and so I don't know.
Salida, but that's.
You
my-
why don't you go talk to him? Go talk to him when you see him there. Are you gonna
Talk
see?
him up. I'll talk him
You'll
up.
see him. Go talk to him and say, "Hey, dude, I'm friends with Joanna, and I want you to come to Pueblo."
Come to Pueblo.
Oh, in July, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
Yeah,
already.
you'll have the truth show will be going
Yeah,
on.
dude,
then.
you
So
should
they'll
talk
probably
to
get
him.
a
See
kick
if
out
he
of that.
wants to do anything. Maybe he wants to say, do something. Who knows? You never know what Dr. Kaufman will do.
Oh, that'd be
He
great.
might want to do something. Why don't you
A
ask?
little chat, yeah, with him. and-
Yeah, see, well, you got, who knows? You could promote it, an event,
I'll
Dr.
hit it up.
Kaufman.
I mean, that's the reason I'm
You know what I'm
going there, to see who the fuck I can attract to make art. or
Yeah,
come
dude.
here.
Yeah, see, yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
It's not that far from, isn't it? Between, it's like north of Colorado Springs, right?
Monarch?
It's
there's
not
a mo-
Monarch. It's Monument. Monument.
Monument. Oh, Monument. Oh, that's, yeah, it's north of Colorado Springs. So it's probably about an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah, you should try and get him to do something.
Okay, well, do
Use
you know
me.
what, do you know what day he talks?
He likes me a lot, so.
Okay, well, that's good. I'll say Joanna's gonna be there.
What day does he talk? I would have to look it up. I don't know. But he's doing a lot of quite a bit there.
Good.
He's promoting the film and talking about his fast experience that he just went through.
So here's something, especially you, Woody. We're starting a film festival. Right now, it's just Pueblo Film Festival. And that's in October. I think it'd be the 8th and the 9th, which is a Saturday and a Sunday. And we're just gonna put it out, and we're only gonna have like shorts. So the longest film could be like half an hour. There's a lot of filmmakers in Pueblo. There are not very many conscious filmmakers, but there are filmmakers. And it would be great to have some
Could probably have like a short animation
uh-huh.
done by then.
So so cool. So I'm just throwing
Do it.
out there. Yeah.
I mean,
That's
I have one that's it's pretty old animation. It's called Brainwash, and it's kind of a cool animation. But
Perfect. Right.
it's been in a festival that was like in 2007 out in Brooklyn, New York. It was in a festival, but I could show it again, and
No
or
one,
by October I may have other stuff that I could
You got
submit as
some-
well. So
some fresh, that's fine too. But
some freshy stuff.
That's hella cool.
yeah, this
Yeah,
guy,
that's rad.
Anea Lujan, he was in the Haunted Wind Chimes. Did you ever hear of them?
No.
Probably Pueblo's most famous touring band. They did Americana music, so they were all original, no pickups, no amplification, great voices. And they toured for 10 years. And most of the people in Pueblo have never even fucking heard of them. That's Pueblo for you. It's so weird. So weird.
They're called the Haunted Wind Chimes.
Haunted Wind Chimes. Yeah,
That's-
they played Red Rocks. And so they're done. And Inea is just making solo stuff. And he had this goal to make a piece a day for 30 days. And he did it. And he
Oh,
put
wow.
it online, and he's
Music?
got followers, and he's got a great voice. He's a really good guitar player.
Oh,
But this other guy, Mike Clark, who lives in the Grove in my neighborhood, he just came back from tour. So he was in the Haunted Wind Chimes, and they broke up, and he created 2 new bands. And yeah, he played here on his tour first. So I guess it was about a month ago. He's been out touring for 3 weeks. He just got back. But yeah, Pueblo has bands that Puebloans don't know about.
well, who knows?
I would say that happens in a lot of places. I mean, there's all kinds of bands that here in Denver or just here in Colorado that I don't even know about that are probably pretty
Yeah.
cool bands.
Yeah, we had a band here Friday night called Beneath Trees, and they're from Fort Collins.
Nice.
And they were really good. I would call it like soft punk.
Soft punk.
Soft
Yeah.
punk. They had some hard punk too, but I would say probably 3/4 was soft punk. Yeah. Chick singer, lead singer, guitar player, drums, bass. Yeah, they were really good.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk to Kaufman, man. That would be awesome if he would do something down, and that would be neat.
Well, so I mean,
He might.
you'll bring it up to him also.
I'm
so-
going to bring it up to him. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna say something. I'll
Yeah,
nonchalantly
say something. We'll
And
tell
what a
him.
coincidence that there's a truth show in Pueblo in July, right when you're going to be in
And
Colorado.
Jeff Maydeen is going to be at Float Fest. He's going to come and see you. That's what I'm going to tell him. I'm going
Right.
to tell
Yeah,
him
yeah.
Jeff Maydeen is going to be speaking at Float Fest, and he's going to come talk to you.
I'm gonna find you.
How's that?
I'm probably only going to be there Friday night, Saturday. and I'll
dude.
probably come back on Sunday. It's 800 miles.
What? But I mean, I can't. I'd have to tell you where. Well, I'm not going to say that unless I know you're going to be there.
No, I'm definitely going to be there Friday night, Saturday, all day Saturday, and then
And when does it end?
it ends on Wednesday, which is
Yeah, so I don't know. He might be.
Yeah, I know.
speaking
That's why I
for you.
asked. You know,
I don't
he
know.
might not be there in the beginning.
You have to look.
I'll look.
I don't know. I'm sitting here painting, doing art here. I can't look on my computer.
Yeah, look, I have rubber gloves on. I wouldn't touch my keyboard with these epoxy gloves. Yeah.
You know.
And look
So-
later.
But yeah, I don't know. I suspect it's Tuesday. Something tells me he might be.
You know, I
there
told them that I might at the very latest stay there Monday and then come back Tuesday.
How do people like? Where do they stay?
There are
Are they camping?
So the ranch is like 120 acres, I think. So they stay on the ranch, but there's also like motels in town.
Oh, so they're gonna camp. And
Yeah,
how are they gonna eat?
barter,
are-
baby. I don't know.
They don't know. I
Bring
mean,
your
how
own
much
food.
do they-
That's a
Are
good
they allowed
question.
to have vendors? Are they going to have vendors and
Yeah,
stuff there? Or
there's going to be vendors. And I don't
But
know. Go ahead.
No, I just was wondering, like, how much it costs and stuff. Like I said, I
I
knew
think
it
the
was gonna
whole thing is $125. And I think a day fee is much less. You just go for a day. And I don't remember what the fee was.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, I should have looked into it more, but I didn't think I was going to go. And then I thought I was like, I saw this girl and then I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. There's no way.
Who's the guy who does the tech for Grand Theft World? He lives in California. LJ or RG?
LD.
LD. Yeah, he's going.
Oh, really?
I heard him say.
Lawrence?
Yeah, Lawrence is going.
Neat. He lives in California?
Yeah, I think so.
I wonder where he lives. Why isn't he not hanging out with Chris? Maybe they're not that close.
That's a
Uh-huh.
good question. Is Chris from Autonomy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that how you know him?
Yep.
Okay. He was
But
in
he's
the-
also on Passio's One Great Work Network. But that's how I met him. I think I met him in Autonomy first.
And so, yeah, he does podcasts, right? What's his channel?
It's called End
And Evil.
End Evil.
I think his website is endevil.life.
How do we get these cool like dot things? Are these just new things that they've come up with, or
There's a bunch of you don't have to do .com. There's a bunch of different ones that you can do. And
yeah, that's cool. Dot life. I know Amanda Vollmer's yummy.doctor. I'm like, really? How did they get this now?
Like there's a lot of different ones. Some of them are more expensive than others too. Like if you go on like one of the like the marketplace and look for domain names, like
Oh my God, Adam Prolakis is calling me right now. Isn't that weird? How weird. On Discord audio, I'm gonna have to not answer it.
oh, Adam
Adam,
Infinitum.
yeah, Adam. Infinitum.
Nice.
Adam Infinitum.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's calling me on Discord audio right now.
Huh.
That's weird, but I'm not gonna, on my phone, it's showing up on my phone. I'm not gonna.
Tell them to come to our,
Yeah,
I'd
that
love
we
to-
should. I should almost tell him to do a piece for the show because he does like a lot of memes and stuff. He's like one of those.
that'd be
does
YouTubers.
awesome. Yeah, memes are great.
And he was like, we had this conversation, me and him, about meme warfare and stuff, which was kind of interesting. Yeah, he's a character. He's a real character.
Yeah, it's weird that he's calling me. I mean, I haven't talked to him in like, a while.
Well, he like deleted his whole thing off of the list Discord for a little bit. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Even, like,
well, because he was
he
pissed
popped
off
up the
about
other
how
day.
things were at PorkFest, I think. He didn't like
Oh.
it. There was some shit that went down at PorkFest that he didn't like. Which I agree with him, but
What happened?
it's just very clicky. Very, very clicky.
What's weird, I noticed there's like difference, like there's a, like me and Chris definitely found out about every autonomy and stuff through Mark Passio's work and stuff. And then there's other people coming from other content creators and stuff. And it's like they kind of, it's almost like the
Teams.
Mark Passio people tend to fall in with each other, and then the wherever the other people came from tend to fall in with each other, and I don't know, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah. Tribal.
Not that there's a problem with that, it's just an observation I made.
Yeah, it was weird. Like we were definitely not on the in crowd. So it was kind of weird. It was like the Autonomy Cafe was on one side of the street and we were on the other side, and we weren't supposed. It was just weird. It's just a weird vibe. Come to our show right now. I'm gonna invite him. We are doing art.
I told him we were doing this because he reached out to me the other day, and I'm like, oh yeah, me and Joanna are doing this art salon thing on Tuesday nights.
The link is in student events. Yeah, it was weird there. I don't know. But we decided to have fun anyway. We just started to ignore them. But it was kind of funky. It's like, dude,
Good.
it was just odd that there should be weird division among autonomy graduates.
High school.
It was fucking high school. Totally. It was really weird. It was fucking weird. And I was like, at some point I couldn't believe it. And then I finally said to myself, I also had like this fear of, I was afraid of Richard for some reason. I was just intimidated. And so finally I thought, I'm like, I got to talk to him. I couldn't get myself to talk to him. And then, huh?
Really?
Oh,
well,
yeah,
maybe that was it. Maybe the
intimidating.
fear and intimidation was sensed, and so it made like a weird. I put like a weird.
No, it wasn't.
thing
It
there.
wasn't coming from me. It was coming from Lisa Manfredi and stuff. Morales, that guy. And then Richard was just busy. It was weird. I'm just telling you. But so finally I just went up to him and thanked him, and that kind of broke the ice. But no, I mean, it was weird. Like we were segregated, and Adam didn't like it.
I don't understand the
that.
reason for the segregation unless there wasn't enough space for you all to be in the
There
same.
was plenty of space. It was just weird. It was just like this weird vibe. I don't know. It's kind of like, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like, you know how stars like don't want people to get close to them.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Cramping the space, huh?
I don't really know what it was. But we had our fun. We just had tried to have fun anyway. Whoa, dude. What's that sound? A child?
Oh, a child wandered in here. Whoops! Last time that happened, I muted my mic in time. This time, my sister's kids are running around still. I'm actually at my mom's house doing this because if I were at my house, I live in a small house. If I were at my house, my kids would not give me the breathing room to do this.
Right.
Did you get a new dog yet?
No, not yet. We're just kind of chilling, no pets for a little while. Ever since I got into all this natural law stuff, I kind of have mixed feelings about having pets. Just like cooping up these animals, even though you do create great bonds with pets and stuff like that, it just seems weird. Like you have to go to work still, right? And then you have to leave the dog there for like hours at a time. And I don't know.
I think I'm too selfish for a dog.
That might be part of it too. Just like the whole, I've got to do art and raise my kids. I don't have time to be messing with a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're stuck in the shelter waiting for family.
True.
And they're what keeps us connected to nature.
They definitely are good at doing that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we probably will eventually. We haven't done it yet.
I just wondered. No, it's pretty
And
soon. It's
my
pretty
sister
close.
actually just got some new dogs that are like a small breed, and she got 2 of them from different breeders so that she can breed them. She's
Very
thinking
cool.
about, and so maybe we'll get one of those when her dogs. I don't know. Even though it'd be better to get one from a shelter, because you're rescuing a dog, but I don't know. Being in a small house, we want to make sure we have a breed that's not going to that's going to work with like the house that we have and stuff.
Right. Blend into the family.
Yeah.
Oh, had
I
a
mean,
dog.
if you ask my kids that question, they'd be like, "Yeah, Dad, why haven't we got another dog yet?"
Well, I mean, it's only been a little while. I know it's not even been a month. How long?
No, it's been more than a month, but it's probably been like 3 months or so, but yeah, I don't know. Just being a parent of a dog and like young kids, it's a lot of work.
Mhm.
Oh my God,
I
he's
do
calling
love
me
dogs.
again on my phone. How do I undo this?
Just pick it up and say,
No, I don't want to because I have to come. All right, I have to sign off then for this.
all right.
She just doesn't want to have that interjected in the call. I understand. This is a place you can step in and out sometimes. I mean,
Yeah,
things
no.
happen. You have to use the restroom and or whatever.
I've got to mix some shit, so I got to step out of the picture, but I've been here the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had to do that, where I'm like, I was a little late getting things together. I'm like scrambling around, finding my canvas and the right paints and stuff, It's like I've got this weird thing that as an artist, over the years of oil painting, where for some reason I only like to paint with yellow, red, and blue, and white, and like a dark, either black or a raw umber or something like that. Because I don't know, I just love the mixing the colors myself for some reason. And so, yeah, I don't, I have grays and blues and all these different colors and greens and stuff that I'll incorporate into my paintings. But I feel like I'd rather not buy like a bunch of different tubes that are already pre-made colors. I'd rather just use the basic primaries and just get everything from that. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Your own custom colors. Yeah.
Sometimes it takes longer because of that, because I'm like, I have to mix the color and stuff, but I don't know.
But if you want to match that color again, how good are you at that?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Because I know how I made the color to begin with.
Yeah.
And I had to, I was working for this artist for a while, and sometimes I had to touch up stuff before I send it to color customers.
Yeah.
And I had to, get really good at matching the colors that, where I was touching things up. So and I felt like if I started with just the primary colors, it was easier to match that color than if I tried to like just pick a color that was a close to it and then try to kind of make it match. Like it was easier to just go from the primaries and mix it down.
Right. I mean, I've certainly painted. I don't consider myself a good painter in any way, shape, or form, but yeah, I have canvases that
What happened? Is he talking?
I was talking.
You were?
But
I
I
didn't hear
stopped.
you. You went away.
Oh, we're just talking about art.
No. He was talking. I came back because I couldn't answer it. When I answered it, he was not there.
Oh, well, he'll call back.
Maybe I invited him to come on, jump on the Zoom call, but he hasn't.
That's
You
all
were
right.
talking
We
and
only
then
got
you
about
just,
20 minutes left anyways, so hopefully he can make it to the next one if he doesn't make this one.
but you were saying that you have canvases and then you went out like you.
Yeah, well, I have canvases stored for when I want to paint, but I don't really have the desire to paint anything right now. So
Yeah, I love to draw, and painting is second to that.
I always draw. I always draw.
To me, painting is just drawing with color.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, painting for me is slightly different than drawing.
It is slightly different because in some ways drawing with one color is harder than painting. Because it's like
drawing,
you
can
have
draw
to
with colored pencil. I mean, I use colored pencil.
Well, yeah,
Or
I'm just saying
watercolor.
like
I use colored pencil. I'm okay at that.
But you're doing something really interesting with that metal right now.
I don't fucking know what I'm doing. I'm just,
Good.
I'm
That's good.
okay.
Okay.
I used it all.
Oh, good. So we're both walking down that road of
Yeah.
what the hell are we doing?
you
That's
just
good.
made metal, not like what is it, like paper mache metal out of metal kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
That's
Metal
so-
mache. That's kind of what you're doing with epoxy and metal shards.
and it's so strong. I mean, so when I get my gloves off, I'll show you the A.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you made an Anarchy A?
Well, yeah, I guess my
Your rendition. That's cool. Oh, that's
There you go.
cool. That's neat, man.
get it.
That's
There we go.
nice.
You see it? Yeah.
Yeah. That's neat.
You could always, that would be cool because you could always do the circle with something else too, like maybe find some
Wait.
wood that you could kind of bend
Well,
around it.
so
Or
this is interesting. So
that could be kind of fun.
you see me over here? This machine,
Uh-huh.
it's a metal roller.
Uh-huh.
So I roll, I mean, I was just fucking around after I got it, like, what can I do with it? So
Oh,
these
neat.
are round tubes, and then I could take, this is probably a better size. I don't know. I don't even know if you guys can see that. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's really
But,
cool.
I've got 3 of these, so I was just kind of like, I had the material, I just rolled them in there, and it takes, it takes some minutes to do it, but it's pretty easy. So that's what I'll do. Yep,
That's so cool.
thank you.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's neat. That's going to be really neat. And then what will you do? Like weld it together?
Well, I can't weld these
Oh,
metal
no.
shards that have epoxy in it
No, you can't. You're right. Sorry.
yet. But I can, use more of the same, or I can glue it with epoxy. I can drill it. You can machine it. I mean, it's
Oh, wow.
amazingly strong. I mean, this A is going to be like, it could be a weapon,
Wow.
like a throwing star.
And it'll be like flat and smooth on the bottom back, right?
Yeah, the back side will be like the back of this guy right here.
That is so neat.
Yeah, I've used like epoxy resin and mixed it with like wood, like sawdust and stuff. And
Done that too. Yep.
if it's not too fine, if the dust isn't too fine, it can be pretty strong. But like if the dust is really, really fine,
Yep.
it doesn't have enough of that meshing to like become as strong.
The
It's still
matrix,
pretty strong.
yeah.
It's just really brittle
Yeah.
at that point.
I was going to make a long, really long kind of shard shape, but instead I made an A.
Well, that's
Cool.
good. I mean, it's going to be cool. It's going to be a cool anarchy symbol for sure.
Well, I got that from Chris. Was that his name?
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, he's cool. I work with him. He works for Kaufman too.
Oh, he does? How many people work for Kaufman?
Oh, 8. Or let me think now. Let me just think about this. Chris, me, Leah, Martin, Jonathan. And the accountant. Maybe it's like 7 or 8 people.
What do
Something
y'all
like
do?
that. I do customer service. It's remote, so I do customer service. And I book the doctors and consultations, and Chris is doing graphics right now. And the 2 guys, one guy, well, they do the video production and the graphics for that, among other, sundry things, different things. And then there's the main chick who's the manager who does all kinds of stuff, liaison. Like right now we're doing that law webinar. So she's basically structuring the law webinar with these law people. I sent that to you.
You did.
So yeah, sometimes like right now it's a lull, so I can barely get enough hours, but people are constantly contacting us and trying to get stuff from us, and asking questions and sending those silly videos about the snake venom thing.
Oh, yeah. I didn't bite too hard on that.
Yeah, well, people think it's a psyop, like that he was an actor.
Oh,
I don't really know. I watched it like a little bit. I'm so done with information. I can't really absorb much more.
I am becoming more done with it. I still ingest some in some people, but not nearly as much as I used to.
Right. It's just, you get to that point of saturation. So,
Well,
Um,
but a lot of things get repeated, you know, it's like.
oh my God,
okay.
no
So,
kidding.
so these, you know, somebody's younger is just getting kind of exposed to it, but they can speak well. And so they're bringing it out to, you know, people that weren't around, say, 10 years ago.
Right, right. No, exactly. That's kind of what we're doing. We're talking about natural law because, you know, a lot of people don't like Passio's vitriolic way. So we reiterate it in a nicer way, kind of, or whatever.
More abstract, we kind of have a more abstract way and more of like a discussion forum way of talking about it, you know, where we may break off into tangents, but we're still kind of like in line with
Right.
the whole scheme of things, you know. And
We're not,
I
yeah.
think that's part of learning too, is like discussing it with your peers, is like, you know, you've got the information, now let's discuss it and let's like really dissect it and come to a better understanding with it. And even let's create artwork that's kind of related while we're doing that, you know.
Yeah.
Because I'm with Joanna, I've like kind of stopped bringing in information as much as I was.
Yeah.
Or I mean, I still do, but I took a big step back from it. And part of that is just like I was over full with inspiration to do art, you know, related to the information that I have now. And so I need to release some of that information in my artwork. And then once I do that, then I'll have more room to get into more information again. That makes sense.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good explanation.
I like this A. So does it have to dry now? Oh yeah, you said it takes a while to set up, right?
It's a chemical reaction, you know, the A and the B go together. So, but I did these yesterday, so they're all, you know, hardened up.
And what are you going to do with those exactly?
Well, first they're a test, you know, I go, okay, what am I going to do with that? I don't know.
Oh yeah, that'll be cool. You'll do something cool with them, I'm
yeah,
sure.
but you know, if I have a bunch of these things, then I don't know. I have this thing in my mind. It would be just an abstract piece, but I really love the way this texture. It's just like, what the fuck is that? You know, it's like, what is it? And, but I would, you know, take these shapes and make them into something else, or I want to do a whole panel and put some color in there,
right,
behind it. And then you got that real nice smooth, and this stuff is really textured. I mean, you rubbed it on your cheek, you'd start bleeding, you know, it's
right. It looks soft, but it's not, because it's metal shards.
It almost looks like if you ever been to like where lava was, like those dried up lava fields, like in Hawaii or something.
Yeah.
It almost looks like lava.
I've been on what is it, a black sand beach. I don't know where it was. I've never been to Hawaii, but I was in a black sand beach somewhere, and it kind of looks like that. But this is more like charcoal gray.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what I want to paint the building.
Oh, the outside of your building?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it now? What is it right now?
Well, there's a lot of graffiti on a lot of it.
Graffiti intentionally?
Yeah, artistic.
Oh, neat. You're gonna cover it?
I'm gonna fucking cover it. They don't care.
Who?
All they want is a photograph of it that they put on their website.
Oh.
So in Pueblo, and there's other, they're called the Creatures, and they do that 3D, you know, 3D lettering that you can't ever read what they're saying, you know. And it's, to me, I think they've backed themselves into a corner. They're locked in. It's like they're stuck. They can't get out of it. You know, the colors are nice. The designs are nice, but it doesn't really say anything at all, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that have actually grown out of that, and they don't do that kind of work anymore, and that's cool. But they frankly don't care, you know, if it gets painted out. They're not attached to it. They're only attached to getting the photograph, putting it out on their website or wherever. taggers. They're not taggers. They're, they're artists. But it's just kind of so redundant. They just, it's boring to me.
Well,
Yes.
do you think that graffiti's done?
No, I don't think it's done. There's a lot of muralists in this town, and there's a lot of places that want murals, even more murals. I mean, do you know about the Levee project?
No.
So I want to say in the 90s, Pueblo had the world's longest mural project painting.
Different
Um,
programs you can insert into the page.
And then they broke it out, and put in new concrete, and they cut the levee down about 11 feet in height because they determined that they didn't need it to be that high, which is, they calculated how much water's in the reservoir and blah, blah. So they
Right.
chopped it down, and then they put in new concrete. It has to cure for about a year. And so there's a lot of stuff that is cured. And I think 3 of my artists have done murals there, and a couple of them are doing some more. And there's a mural that the health department is paying for on that ABC plumbing building, which is on the same block as our building.
Hmm.
And so the owner is allowing there to be a mural. So I'm on the freaking board. So we're going to be looking at some mural proposals here coming up soon. And we'll see. Hopefully we can get something interesting.
Cool.
Yeah. But there's
Nice.
a ton of muralists in this town.
Wow.
What were you gonna
Murals are fun.
Yeah,
I've done
they
a couple
are.
of those.
They're colorful, and they're not forever, which is altogether not a bad thing. Unless they were like a super, nice piece of art. They're there until the paint fades, and then they get painted over. There are some paints that last longer.
Oh yeah. What are they?
When I was
what-
doing it, I was
One
ordering
shot?
like pigments, and I was putting it in this UV binder
Yeah.
called Silica Flat, and like it lasts a really long time.
That's what his art name is Matt Reffick. His real name is Matt Taylor. And he may have had that mural on the side of the building with the demons and the hearts coming out of this guy's open chest cavity. Do you remember that?
I do not remember that. Is that on your building?
It got painted over.
Oh no, I didn't.
Anyway,
Oh.
he's a really good muralist. He's extremely an awake person. So we had this conversation last
Neat.
night about, about truth and what it means and how it's somewhat fungible.
Fungible. Fungible. What's that word? Is
It's
that-
only fungible through perception.
Things that are called truth are not really true. They're not.
Oh, things that are called
Things,
true. Yes,
yeah,
that's true.
yeah.
Things. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but
That's
truth
true.
is objective.
It's subjective.
No, but real truth is objective.
Okay, I agree.
Truth, like the real truth, like gravity or behavioral consequence. Those truths can never. That's like the capital T truth versus the little t truth. The little t truth is subjective. Like, COVID
Right.
exists. That's a little t truth. That's actually a big lie, but whatever.
Yeah, right.
Some people,
What
some
do you
people,
say?
some people want to think it's the truth, but if they do, it's the little t truth.
An analogy I could come up with for that would be almost like when if you're going to go play a game like Chutes and Ladders or like Candyland with a kid or, with
Uh-huh.
someone or game of chess, when you're in within that game, there are certain rules which are the truths within the context of that game. But outside of that game, in actual reality, natural reality, there is a set of natural laws or rules that are in play. And then like governments almost like playing that game of Candyland. When you're in the government, that these are like these man-made constraints and rules that are perceived as truths because it's within the confines of this structure of the government or whatever you're looking at, or
The
if it's a
government
football
game.
game, if you're playing in a football game, there's different rules of conduct than if you're walking down the street, and so I think you can confuse truth with the rules within the confines of the game or the whatever organization or situation you're thinking of.
I like your definition.
Yeah, that's right. So like that's when I started to conceptualize for the show. I was trying to figure out, like, am I gonna go for like the fake truth, or am I gonna talk about the real truth? The real, because there's some fake truths out there right now, and I'm like, yeah, they're getting too much airplay. I'm going to talk about this real objective truth. That was my struggle when I was first trying to figure out what the hell I was going to do for this show, man. It's like, what the heck am I going to do for this show? I'm like, well, you know what? The objective truth isn't getting much airplay right now, so I think I'll focus on that. So,
but it's almost like my painting that I'm working on now. I have this cartridge going into this kid's head. Happens to be an anarchy cartridge, so he's gonna be an awake individual, right? And so, but I'm right now, I'm slowly but surely I'm putting all these other cartridges in the background, and those cartridges are going to have different symbols. Like I might have like a cross or like a Jewish star or like a badge or the Muslim symbol. I'm going to put all these different symbols in these different cartridges. And so when you're running that program of that cartridge, those are your truths, even though it may be a program that you're running that's a man-made rationalized system of control, right? Well, depending on which rationalized system of control you're running, which program you're running, whether it's the Catholic program or the Judaic program or the atheist program, whatever program that is, you're going to interact with people that are running other programs. And so when you have these clashes and these conflicts because people are running different programs. But these programs are like almost like defining your individual small t truth, whereas in nature and in reality, there's a big T truth that, yes, some of the program built in, like say the Christian truth, there is some of that natural law stuff is incorporated in there, but some of it is, turned around or manipulated, And so depending on what program you're running, I guess my point is going to depend on what you're going to view as a truth through your perception. Because these programs, it's almost just another way of saying, hey, these are the perceptions that this person's filtering reality through versus, coming from a naturalistic kind of perception of like actual natural law.
yeah, I guess that it should be a different word. We shouldn't be using truth for the subjective word, but they want to do that because they want you to believe that truth isn't real, that there is no truth, that it can't be proved, so that they can arbitrarily decide what the truth is for whatever convenient thing they want to
Get us to
people
believe.
believe. Yep. Exactly. Which is why I think it's a good subject for a show right now. I mean, it is disgusting what's going on. Don't get me wrong.
It is.
But we're all in it, so it's hard to talk about it because there's nobody who's not in it. It's very strange. I mean, those people from Tonga weren't in it, but now they're in it.
Right.
They
didn't know what they were missing.
Yeah, those poor people, man. They were living natural law. And then,
Well, yeah, those tribes in South America, I mean, they've all been basically co-opted a while ago.
Well, forced. They've been forced. Someone used force against them to force them into that, and they were maybe naive enough to not defend themselves against that force.
yeah, I think a lot of it is naivete. I was thinking about that too when I was on my walk, about how did they get away with corrupting this planet like so easily? They so easily came in here. But that's because people like whoever was here had no idea what the hell that was, because everything was working in harmony here. So they didn't recognize it. I think. I mean, I was thinking about today I was thinking about, you know, the Nephilim creating humans and then having sex with the females. I was trying to figure out how the hell giants had sex with human females, but I'll never understand that.
Right, well, they're pretty advanced. They probably didn't really have sex as we
They
know.
just beamed semen into the females, and then the
Shot
females
it in
gave
there,
birth.
yeah.
Artificial insemination.
Yep, for sure.
And that's how we get the royals or whatever. It's just so disgusting to me. I mean, and as I was walking along, I was like thinking, you know, should I start talking about this? Like as if it's true. I might actually start talking about it because I think it is true. I think it's the only thing that makes sense to me as to how we got in this situation. And because we have to have such elaborate systems of defense against nature, because we can't just live in a burrow or whatever.
Right.
Well, we can. We just don't think that's as comfortable as living in a house. I mean, what is a house but a burrow? It's a type of burrow, right? We take wood and stones and we stack them up and we make what we call a house. It may be a little bit more like squared and different than when you think of like an animal's burrow where they just kind of throw some sticks together and maybe dig a hole. I mean, but it's not really that much different.
Well,
Stacking up bricks versus sticks.
It is quite a bit
very adaptable, and they'll use whatever material is available. I mean, log cabins in the forest and sod houses in Nebraska and stone houses in Britain.
Yeah, but why don't we go back to that though? Why do we think this is better?
Because of commerce, basically. I think. I mean,
well, materialism
bought
is a big
into it.
thing.
Yeah.
We've just
There's
bought
too much
into
materialism going on too. Like everyone's like, a lot of people of these normies, they care more about their shoe purchase than they do thinking about, philosophical stuff like we're doing tonight.
No, that's not in their purview at all. Not.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, should I get the blue ones or the red ones?
I'll get both. Yeah, but there's
Ooh, I
got
got a
we
raise.
have
I'll
we have
get
to
both,
stop
yeah.
talking about other people. I mean, I don't think this is that other people's
Yeah.
shortcomings. We have to talk about like something,
Yeah.
And we mostly do. I mean, yes, we fall back into that.
we digress into that, but
And it's not necessarily their fault they're like that, because they've been nationally brought up in a system that reinforces that and then supports that. And then like if you go to public school, half of the game at public school is buying the right stuff so you fit in with your peers.
Right. Don't want to dress too different.
Yeah, it's like, oh, everyone's wearing the really funky looking MC Hammer pants right now in the 80s. I got to get me a pair of those.
Is that coming back? Really?
No. That's like, I'm talking about like my experience. I was in school. I was like, there was a period where you were like, you weren't cool unless you had some of those funky, colorful, weird shaped MC Hammer pants.
That's pretty sad.
Yeah, what goes around comes around. The only way they can, sell more sport coats is change the collar. Oh, that's the
Mhm.
collar this year. I mean, it's so fucking ridiculous.
Oh, believe me, I worked at Home Depot in the paint department, and they would do this color thing, and I was just appalled at the color that they were picking. Like, and now it's even worse. Like, it's in the grays. They're all into gray,
Right.
so they're like into adding black to your color.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is terrible. This is part of the cabal. This is part of the plan to make people depressed and unhappy. And actually, my friend, you probably know this. My friend Jonathan from work said that horrible architecture that they're all doing right now is called brutalism.
No, it's brutalism.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so there
How is
was there were some good examples of brutalism in Chicago going back to probably the 50s, maybe the 60s.
Oh my God.
And I'm fully aware of brutalism, and I don't resonate with it. at
Can
all.
you believe that they actually call it that?
So it's kind of modern and kind of not. It's a transitional kind of style.
Yeah,
Could be.
it's communist. And it's called brutalism. I was blown away when he told me that. I was like, what the hell? I mean, but it goes along with everything else, I guess. Well, you don't see the chemtrails, you don't hear the word brutalism, you don't think about anything.
I was going
like-
through my photographs last week with this guy who's super awake. He lives in the Springs. I sold him a piece of art, and he's a licensed electrician, and I needed some electrical stuff for the bar, and so I bartered my percentage of the sculpture sale for trading for electricity.
Yes.
And it's really cool. But there was a point that I was going to bring up. Shit.
You'll think of it.
Architect, yeah, hopefully. Shit. It's gone.
It'll come back. It's gonna come back.
It happens.
Oh, it's 8:15, y'all.
All right.
Yeah, I know.
It's so
I
much
was going to tell you
fun.
guys that we're
much
past the
fun.
time, but
We're
Yeah.
so much fun.
I keep
so
going,
much-
but I'm hungry. I got to eat something.
Yeah, I gotta eat something too. I fasted today and now I'm done fasting. I'm hungry and I'm gonna eat.
Okay. Well, it's fun, guys.
It was fun.
yeah, so I think next week we're going to talk about like kind of trivium kind of stuff.
Are you gonna be gone next week?
No, I leave on Friday, the 29th.
Oh, okay, good.
I
That's
guess
cool.
this was
That's
part of, or we could talk about, I have actually the next week I have here. To talk about the human condition, which kind of ties into what we're doing now. Like,
Well, let's
the
talk
human
about the
condition.
trivium. That sounds so negative. Let's talk about
okay,
the trivium.
Yeah,
'Cause we've
yeah, let's
already
do
kind of
trivium.
we've already covered the human condition today.
yeah, we covered the human condition today. You're right. So yeah,
So
there we'll
negative.
go into trivium next
Yeah,
week.
I haven't studied trivium for a number of years. So
and
That'll be
and
fun.
how reality is built kind of through the trivium, layering the different aspects of the trivium on top of each other, and that's how reality or perceptions and realities are actually built in some senses.
Sounds like fun. That sounds like a really good topic. I'm gonna even
Yeah, so-
tell. Yeah, that'll be fun to tell everybody. Maybe we'll get some autonomy people who are trying to figure it out.
yeah.
Never know.
freshies, fresh blood.
Freshies, fresh blood. All right.
All right.
Talk to you later. It was
See you
fun.
next week. See you next Tuesday.
All right. Have a good week.
Bye.
Enjoy. Good night.
Good night.